Again, everybody from Goss Stadium at Coleman Field on the campus of Oregon State University in Corvallis. Along with Brian Thomas and Javon Grossman, this is Mike Parker welcoming you to the rubber game of the three-game West Coast League South Division playoff series between the Corvallis Knights and the Walla Sweets. It has come down to this winner-take-all game for the Knights, who are looking to win for whatever it's worth, and it seems that it's worth something, their sixth consecutive series. The Knights last lost a series for whatever it may be worth, and not much, to Walla here back in July 19th, 20th, right around in there. Since then, since losing the rubber game in a regular season series here to Walla in late July, the Knights have gotten hot and won the second half of the South Division West Coast League race, and at the same time earned home field advantage for this series as well as for the South Division title game, which will take place Tuesday night either here or in Bellingham here against either Ridgefield. Who won the Ridgefield, Ben? Ridgefield in Portland. They're playing tonight? Okay, so it'll either be Ridgefield or Portland here on Tuesday if the Knights win tonight. I'm talking to my assistant, young Ben Crockett. A lot to get to tonight. It's a beautiful Sunday with Daniel Boone singing in my background. I can hear him now. He's right. It's a beautiful Sunday with a pleasant temperature, low AQI, clear and blue skies, and a perfect place to be, Goss Stadium at Coleman Field, which is going to be the home for our pregame show guest, even after this night season comes to an end. Right-handed pitcher Luke Duncan, by way of Chico State and San Joaquin Delta College, has a story to tell. We're going to hear from Luke, get to the starting lineups, and the first pitch from Bryce Hill as the Knights try to win and keep their season alive. If they don't, the ride comes to an end. So a lot on the line here on this gorgeous Sunday evening. We'll meet Luke Duncan, right-handed pitcher, converted catcher, and get that story next in 2 minutes on the Knights live stream back in 2 on Joe Radio. Back at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field, it is the rubber game, the South Divisional Series, winner-take-all, Game 3, the Knights and Walla. Two interesting games. The Knights win big in Walla, a nail-biter last night, losing 3-2. A guy that helped make sure it didn't get any larger than a 3-run deficit joins me. He's a Knight. He's a future Beaver. His name is Luke Duncan. Luke, it's nice to meet you. High leverage moment in game last night, and I thought, a little control at first seemed to be maybe not exactly where you wanted it, but how were you able to kind of dial it in and then put up those zeros?
Yeah, like you said, the command was not where I wanted it to be. I think it was the mental side that played a huge role. It was just fighting through the struggles and going to the off speed. I threw more strikes with the off speed and found a feel for them and came back and fought through the tough moments and put up zeros.
Luke, is that just simply the challenge of the craft of pitching? Sometimes the command is there. Sometimes no matter how much you want it to be, it just isn't?
Correct. I mean, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Good days and bad days, and it's all about just getting through both of them.
That's when you really learn how to pitch, though, right? If not everything's working, you got to find something to get you by, and you did that last night. I thought it was important to keep the game where it was, and you found a way. So were you overall pleased with your ability to do that?
Yes, for sure. Obviously, I wish I could clean up the walks and the command, and hoping to do so next time. But in terms of helping out my team and keeping us in a good spot, I think I was pretty pleased with it.
Good. Luke Duncan, my guest. Luke, tell me a little bit about two things. One, about coming to be a Corvallis Knight, how that worked out, and then the next step, you're going to stay right here, which we're excited about in Beaver Nation. But tell us, first of all, how you ended up with the Corvallis Knight.
Towards the end of my JUCO season, I did not know if I was playing summer ball. I was waiting for an assignment, I guess, from either Dorman when he was here or Mitch. And so I texted Dorman, and he said he was going to send me to the Northwoods. And I said, that sounds great. I asked him if there was a chance for the Knights, and he said he could try and figure it out, and, did a couple things for me, and I ended up here. So it was a super great opportunity.
Did that appeal to you more simply the geography of it rather than going out to the old Northwoods League? Why? I mean, or you just knew about the reputation of the Knights and wanted to be here?
Knew about the reputation of the Knights for sure. I think it's huge. I think it's so important to get out here, knowing that I'll be a future Beaver and getting used to the environment, the mound, the town of Corvallis, and I think it's paid off very well.
You haven't been here that long, but have you been around enough to know that this is a good place? I mean, being a Beaver, being in this community, this ballpark, so far, what are some of your thoughts and impressions?
Wonderful. With the Knights, I can say nothing but great things. The coaching staff, my teammates, all great things. Positivity. My host family's amazing. I love the field. I love the fans, the environment. So exciting, and I just can't wait for Beaver baseball.
And then tell us, if you don't mind, Luke Duncan, my guest, as we get ready for the winner-take-all Game 3 of the South Divisional Series coming up shortly. How did the opportunity with Oregon State come about?
A little weird. I wasn't recruited heavily out of high school. I had no offers. I was a catcher, and flipped to pitching a little late in JUCO, and the batting average went down and the velocity went up, and schools started to reach out, and I was able to make a decision on Oregon State. I took a visit here, and it came down to how could you say no to this place?
Okay, I need to hear a little bit more about the conversion from catcher to pitcher. Was it a JUCO coach who said, "Hey, look, I mean, let's try this"? Was it your idea? I mean, how did that whole thing take shape?
It was out of high school. Like I said, I didn't have any offers. I didn't go to JUCO out of high school. I went to a Division II, Chico State in Northern California, and walked on. Just showed up at the tryout and did some catcher throwdowns and a couple reps off the mound, and they liked me more as a pitcher, and I didn't like that. So that's when I went to junior college, did some two-way stuff, and then last summer was where the conversion was really made, and the velocity spiked.
You were holding on to the idea of being a catcher and a hitter and all of that as long as you possibly could. Are you happy now? Are you still kind of missing the other, or are you pretty content where you are?
I don't think I'd be playing baseball anymore if I was still a catcher. So I think definitely pleased with making the switch and super grateful for it.
There was a guy at USC years ago named Robert Stock. I don't know if you know that name at all, but Stock, there were games, and Brooke is sitting there too. Stock would be behind the plate, and USC would go to him late in games to close. So he'd take the catcher's gear off and walk on out to the mound. Yeah. Did you ever do anything like that?
I did not. No, luckily I've not.
Okay.
But yeah.
So a pitcher through and through now, and you mentioned Coach Dorman earlier, and whenever there's, it's a major change. Coach did a great job here. He's a good friend. I'll love him forever. Going to miss him around here. The guy that's here, Andrew Moore, is also a guy that I have great admiration for, called all of his games as a Beaver. Love the guy. I think you're going to love him. But what was it like for you to go through a transition like that?
It was tough. It was, I was playing catch one day with my dad, and I opened my phone after catch play, and I found out on Twitter that Dorman was leaving, and it kind of sucked to find that out. And I waited it out, and as soon as I saw Andrew Moore, my dad and I did some research and found out what he was like. And then I got to meet him just a couple weeks ago, and he seems like a great coach and an even better person.
Well, you're right on both counts. The coaching, he's risen pretty quickly in a good system with, I know the Guardians thought very highly of him to elevate him to AAA. So I think you're going to be under, good tutelage. But your world, you've been honest enough to say, were you thinking maybe of doing something else for a while, or did you just let it sit for a little bit and the meeting with Andrew kind of settled you back down in your commitment to Oregon State?
Yeah, no, I was always fully committed here, and I found out, and I was a little bummed out. I really liked Dorman. Yeah. Saw great things, heard great things about him, and the thought obviously came into my mind of, a different area, but I had confidence that, a place like Oregon State could fill that spot with somebody with an unbelievable reputation. And I sat around and waited, and as soon as I found out who the guy was, I was super excited.
Good. Final thing, and that is tonight. You were in a big game last night. Tonight's a big game. You're probably not hot tonight, but will be Tuesday, if you get there, but you got to get there. What's the feeling been like here, to be here, the commitment to be all in and try to win a championship? Do you get that vibe that that's what this place is all about?
I think it's huge. I think all the guys on the nights are in it to win. We all are full of heart. We want to bring a championship home and just go after it. Play out there with our hearts on the line. So,
Luke, it's great to have you as a Knight and as a Beaver. Nice to meet you. Thanks for the time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Nice to meet you as well.
Luke Duncan, my guest. The first pitch just around the corner from Bryce Hill. It'll be coming in at triple digits. I like the sound of that. I like the sound of the Knights playing on Tuesday right back here at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field. Stay with us. Game 3 just about to get underway. Thanks for joining us. Back in 2 on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio. With a really outstanding young man. Looking forward to having him in the Oregon State program, and delighted to have him with the Corvallis Knights to get his legs under him in this ballpark as a member of the Knights. Bryce Hill has completed his warm-up tosses and is ready to go to the leadoff hitter in this decisive Game 3 for the Walla Walla Sweets. Right-hand hitting third baseman Kyler Bittner, who climbs in. Bryce Hill to the plate, fastball high and inside. And we are underway a little bit early, so we weren't able to take the break. I thought they began the mechanism of introducing all of the stuff a little early. Instead of 6:05, we're at 4, so here we go. The 1-0 pitch, fastball for a strike from Bryce. 1 ball and 1 strike to Kyler Bittner, leading off at third base for the Sweets. Gage Reeser in the 2-hole at shortstop. Sam Kane batting third and center. Gaines Hawson, the cleanup hitter at first base. Batting fifth in right field, Logan Nakamura. Again, a very late change to the lineup from head coach Leo Rivera. Nakamura batting fifth and right was originally slotted as the DH. Troy Osborne now the designated hitter. Bryce Hill's 1-1 pitch down and away. Ball 2, 2-1. Jalen Kennedy batting seventh and catching. Troy Osborne crashed into the fence behind home plate last night. Left the game, but good to see him back in the lineup, at least as the DH tonight. Bryce's 2-1 pitch. Fastball swung on and missed. And that evens the count to Kyler Bittner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Keegan Kelly batting 8th at second base, hitting 9th in left field, Ronan Schofield, and Curtis Ellis, a right-hander, getting the start. The 2-2 pitch, fastball lifted foul, and our first action into the alley behind our vantage point outside of the McGrath family press box. Not as big of a crowd tonight. Last night it looked like Knights Nation, as it were, all in to watch the Knights advance to the championship game here on Tuesday. A few less fans in, but still a good crowd. The 2-2 pitch misses high and inside on the change. Ball 3, 3-2 from Bryce Hill. Coach Rivera, the head coach for Walla Walla at third base. Brandon Cabrera just wrapped up his collegiate career at Gonzaga, coaching at first for the Swedes. Bryce's 3-2 pitch is high and inside, ball 4. An inauspicious beginning, to be sure, to any game. A leadoff walk. It was instructive, I thought, and a really good conversation for our pregame show guest, Luke Duncan, to talk about the pitfalls of not commanding the zone and how he had to kind of feel his way and find some off-speed stuff, his secondary stuff, landing sliders as opposed to command of the fastball, but he got through it. Now, Bryce Hill, with a heater that can touch 100, missing with a first pitch here, up and in to Gage Reeser after a leadoff walk to Bittner. So already Walla Walla with an opportunity in the top of the first inning. Bryce works out of the stretch. The right-handed hitting Gage Reeser not showing bunt. The 1-0 pitch is a check swing and inside for ball 2. 2-0 the count. Sam Kane on deck, and Bryce knows it's high time to fill up the zone and not to fall behind 3-0, put himself in a position to have 2 freebies to open the game. Kyler Bittner gets his lead. The 2-0 pitch is way outside. Ball 3, 3-0. I feel like Lou Piniella. I'm not sure I can survive the night if I see much more of that. Sweet Lou, not having to worry about such things anymore, was part of the Mariners celebration last night, and a former Knight part of it. Mitch Haniger, one of the top 50 Mariners of all time. Bryce Hill's 3-0 pitch is way outside for ball 4. So he's not off to a good start, and we'll see if the very talented, conscientious, hard-throwing young man, Stanford bound, oftentimes with guys like Bryce, it takes a little bit of a feel, a power pitcher such as he is, and he has a couple of teammates coming out to kind of lift his spirits. Battery mate Dakota Chun, second baseman Diego Cruz come in for a visit with the big right-hander who is more than capable now of kind of, in a sense, getting it out of his system early and going to work and pounding the zone and getting out of this unscathed. But the confident Walla Walla Sweets, winning last night 3-2 to force this rubber game, draw back-to-back walks to open this decisive matchup. Sam Kane, the batter, 2 on and nobody out. Bryce Hill from the stretch. Kane is bunting, takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Jim Courtney calling balls and strikes tonight, with Jacob Fisher, the first base umpire, and J.T. Rentschler at third. Bryce Hill working with battery mate Dakota Chun. Ethan Porter at first, Diego Cruz at second, Joey Morosco at short, Ryan Severns at third with Kellen Siegel in left, Max Medina in center, and Zane Garvey in right. Kane is again bunting. He takes a fastball on the outside corner. Strike 2. He's moved it in and out and taken a little off the fastball. Nothing wrong with that either. The old Larry Sherry counsel to number 32, a lefty named Koufax. Sandy, you were 8-13 last year. You maybe make an adjustment. Here's the adjustment. Take a little off the fastball. The rest is history. The last 2 fast ones have been in the lower 90s. Bryce Hill often can be in the upper 90s. The strike 2 pitch is a pitch clock violation against Bryce Hill, contemplating what pitch to throw 0-2. So it's now 1-2, and a big yelp coming from the Sweets dugout. They were pretty chatty last night, as well they should be, coming on the road with a big win, and they let out a pretty big roar right there when ball 1 was called against Bryce Hill. The 1-2 pitch is popped up into shallow left field. Kellen Siegel moving in and under to make the catch, and it's not deep enough to move Kyler Bittner. One away. Sam Kane flying out to left field, and Gaines Hawson will be the hitter. It was Norm Sherry, pardon me, not Larry. Larry was the hero of the 1959 World Series. Norm Sherry, kind of an obscure role player and a bullpen catcher who just one day when he saw Sandy, the lefty, throwing everything with all his might and power, just walked out and said, Sandy, you know, just take a little bit off. The pitch on the way to Gaines Hawson swung on and fouled into Urchin Alley to my right. 0-1 the count. 2 on, 1 out. Top of the first inning, no score. And it was a bit akin, I suppose, to Augustine in the Garden, hearing the kid say, take up and read, take up and read. And he took up and read something that changed his life. It was the right thing in the right moment. The strike one change is high to Gaines Hawson. 1-1 the count. I mean, I'm sure other people had actually suggested somewhere along the way the same type of thing the kids suggested or whatever Augustine had been reading throughout his life up to that point. But take up and read, he read, and everything changed for him. Take a little off the fastball, everything changed for Sandy. At the right time, that message came through, and he became as great a pitcher as the game has known for a 5-year period. The 1-1 pitch down and away to Gaines Hawson. Ball 2, 2-1. Kyler Bittner and Gage Reeser both walking to open this decisive Game 3. A fly out for Sam Kane. Gaines Hawson, right-hand hitter at the plate. The 2-1 pitch, lifted foul on top of Dixon Reck to my right, and that evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes with Logan Nakamura on deck. So if the Knights win tonight, they have tomorrow off and will play here Tuesday against either Portland or Ridgefield. A dramatic finish last night for Ridgefield with Josh Proctor and Braden Watson hitting home runs to lift Ridgefield to an amazing 12-10 win. Just an incredible ball game. Hill bluffs to second and continues his work now, bent at the waist, reading Dakota Chun. And considering the 2-2 offering to Gaines Hawson with 2 on and 1 out, no score. Bryce Reddy delivers, swung on and missed with the slider for strike 3, 2 down. So again, Bryce kind of hoping that he is able to get back into the dugout and talk about, well, I kind of did it the hard way. Issuing the back-to-back walks to open the inning. He's an out away from getting out of it unscathed with 2 on and 2 out. Logan Nakamura, the batter. First pitch, fastball, just missed. 1 ball and no strikes. With Jim Courtney, there are times when he's a little slow on raising that right hand to signify a strike, and I was expecting him to call that pitch a strike. 1-0 to the left-hand hitting Logan Nakamura. 2 on, 2 out, top of the first inning, no score. Bryce back to the plate, popped up on the left side. Shortstop Joey Morosco calling and waiting and makes the catch. And Bryce Hill, well, he did it a little bit the hard way, but he did it. Walks back-to-back to open the game, and then he comes back with 2 pop flies and a strikeout and puts up the important 0 to set a good tone for this rubber match. No runs, no hits, 2 left. We go to the bottom of the first. We'll be back with the Knights lineup and back in 90 on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio.
At Eugene Airport, we want to say thank you. Thank you to our community for choosing us to connect you to many destinations, other cultures, your families, and friends. Thank you to our dedicated and professional staff for ensuring the airport experience is excellent. And thank you to local residents and businesses for making us who we are. We are proud to serve you, our region, and beyond. Together, we continue to grow and thrive. Thank you for flying local and for flying EUG.
The first inning, Bryce Hill puts up a 0, and now his counterpart, right-hander Curtis Ellis, will try to do the same. Curtis will face the following lineup as announced by skipper Brooke Knight. Brooke takes his spot in the third base box. Marcus Matias at first, and the first pitch from Curtis Ellis to Diego Cruz, the left-hand hitting second baseman, misses inside, ball 1. Diego Cruz leading off with Maverick Russell in the 2-hole, the DH. Ethan Porter batting third at first base. The 1-0 pitch, Diego hits it off the end of the bat foul past Coach Matias. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. Dakota Chun batting cleanup and catching for the Knights tonight. Ryan Severns batting 5th at third base. Max Medina hitting 6th in center. Kellen Siegel batting 7th in left. Zane Garvey hitting 8th in right. And Joey Morosco batting 9th at shortstop. Diego Cruz, a fly ball to straightaway center. Sam Kane goes back a couple of steps and hauls it in. 1 away in the bottom of the first inning. Maverick Russell, the designated hitter, will come to the plate. Tremendous outing by Trey Morse last night to keep the Knights from coming back. A moribund approach offensively for the Knights until late when they had a good look at taking the lead in the bottom of the 8th, but came up a run short. First pitch to Maverick Russell misses high and inside, ball run. Maverick with a triple in last night's ball game. Curtis Ellis has had a good summer. He's making his 8th start of the season, a record of 3-2 and an ERA of 2.95. The 1-0 pitch to Maverick swung on and missed, and the count 1-1. A good workload all summer long in that he's pitched 42 2/3 innings. He has had tremendous control. Just 4 walks, Bill Fisher type control, 4 walks in his 42 2/3. He delivers a strike to Maverick Russell in the count 1-2 and 31 strikeouts. No score, bottom of the first inning. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Maverick Russell in this decisive game 3. Off speed, a 2-hopper to second. More of the same from last night. Keegan Kelly throws to first to get Maverick, 2 down. The Knights rolled over early and often all evening long and were stymied throughout the night. And so far, so good. Early, obviously, but the Knights not jumping Curtis Ellis. 2 outs, nobody on. And Curtis's numbers indicate that he's a tough customer as well. Certainly last night, the Knights had their hands full in losing 3-2. DJ Kawahi was brilliant. And Trey Morse outstanding out of the pen to bring it home. Ethan Porter swings and fouls it back. No balls and 1 strike. 2 down, nobody on, bottom of the first. No score. If the Knights win, they play Tuesday. If they don't, the boys will head off to their various schools and get ready for fall ball, and we'll put the 2026 season in the books. The Knights are hoping they've got, after tonight, 2 games left. One here Tuesday and then another one in the state of Washington, somewhere either Wenatchee or Bellingham. The pitch to Porter missing to even the count at 1-1. Ethan swings and hits one foul off to the right and out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Curtis Ellis working with battery mate Jalen Kennedy. Gaines Hawson at first, Keegan Kelly at second, Gage Reeser at short, Kyler Bittner at third, Ronan Schofield in left, Sam Kane in center, Logan Nomura in right. Porter takes strike 3 called on the breaking ball, and the Knights' woes continue offensively. They haven't done anything here at home after scoring 15 runs in Walla Walla in the playoff opener on Friday. So both pitchers do their job in the first inning, putting up zeros. At the end of 1, Walla Walla nothing, the Knights nothing. Back in 90 on the Knights live stream and 1240 Joe Radio.
Rolling with the crew, where good vibes meet good times. Retro keys, vintage vibes, unlock your next adventure. Poop's got the hookup too, belly rubs included. Space to kick back, laugh out loud, and just be. Hit the pop shop for quick snacks and take in the moment, or just chill with your pup and soak up the good life. Stay original at Hotel Corvallis.
At Eugene Airport, we want to say thank you. Thank you to our community for choosing us to connect you to many destinations, other cultures, your families, and friends. Thank you to our dedicated and professional staff for ensuring the airport experience is excellent. And thank you to local residents and businesses for making us who we are. We are proud to serve you, our region, and beyond. Together, we continue to grow and thrive. Thank you for flying local and for flying EUG.
Coleman Field. No score to the second inning. Trey Osborne will lead things off for the Walla Walla Swedes. In the top of the second against Knights right-hander Bryce Hill. First pitch swinging, a tapper off the end of the bat slowly. Joey Morosco charges gloves and throws out Osborne. That is a much better beginning for Big Bryce Hill to get a first pitch out. He had to labor to get 3 outs last inning after the back-to-back walks. And he is happy to pitch to soft contact, I'm sure, and get an out to open the top of the second inning. Bryce Hill, 6'5", 230-pounder out of Greenwich Country Day, Connecticut. Has been a joy to watch throughout the summer and will have a big-time career down on the farm. And they're not going to be able to keep him down on the farm after probably he'll be a big-time, I think, a guy we're going to see pitch in the big leagues with the type of power arm and the approach, conscientious approach that he has. He delivers a first pitch strike to Jalen Kennedy. No score in the top of the second. The strike one pitch from Bryce hit foul into the netting above the on-deck area of the Walla Walla Sweets. And the count quickly, no balls and 2 strikes. We are blessed with another gorgeous day today. After a smoke-filled week, it has been a joy to breathe in the fresh and clean air. Oh, Candida. The strike 2 slider just outside where the air is fresh and clean. I've had that Tony Orlando and Dawn song, as I'm sure you all have, just floating through your ears and mind the last few days. Where the air is fresh and clean. It's a sweet and beautiful line. And that's our world today. The 1-2 pitch from Bryce. Fastball taken. Strike 3 called. 2 down. That'll bring to the plate Keegan Kelly with 2 outs, nobody on. Currently 82 degrees as we're early in this decisive Game 3. The AQI has risen a little bit. It was at 18 earlier, now at 23, but still grand conditions for this rubber match. 2 outs, nobody on. Keegan Kelly, the batter. Keegan looks at a fastball a little low, ball 1, 1-0. I don't know if, I know that radar gun speed, not so much radar guns, but just how these things are computed. But in Ridgefield a couple of nights back, fastball for a strike here. We're seeing Bryce Hill, according to our monitor, his fast ones are coming in 96, 97. In Ridgefield, we had 6 to 7 pitches over 100 miles per hour, including a 101 at Ridgefield. Ground ball off the leg of Hill, deflected to Severns, throws to first for the out, and the inning is over. 1-5-3. Bryce Hill walks off, apparently just fine. He kind of kicked it over to Ryan and probably prevented a 2-out hit. That thing was hit pretty hard off the bat, and Bryce Hill in his follow-through had the ball go off his leg right to Severns for the putout to retire Keegan Kelly. So all of that to say, I don't know which is the more accurate, whether the thing was calibrated a bit differently at Ridgefield or whether he was just throwing in the hundreds with consistency in Southwest Washington. But he's swinging hard enough and well enough here. 1.5 in, no score. Back in 90 on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio.
Welcome. We're looking to switch and heard about OCCU. In 20 words, what makes OCCU different?
OCCU has free interest-earning checking, high-yield savings, and a community focus.
That's only 11.
We're the credit union with duck and beaver cards.
Sounds like OCCU has a lot to offer.
OCCU has been around for 70 years. We've learned a thing or two.
Switch to OCCU. Apply online at myoccu.org or at your local branch.
Rolling with the crew, where good vibes meet good times. Retro keys, vintage vibes, unlock your next adventure. Pups got the hookup too, belly rubs included. Space to kick back, laugh out loud, and just be. Hit the pop shop for quick snacks and take in the moment, or just chill with your pup and soak up the good life. Stay original at Hotel Corvallis.
Curtis Ellis delivers to Dakota Chun, who rips one toward the gap into right center field. It'll be an extra base hit for Dakota. He's thinking about 3, but Brooke Knight puts the stop sign up with Logan Nakamura getting the ball back in. Nice swing by Dakota Chun, ripping a double to the gap in right center field, and the Knights with an opportunity to get on the board with Ryan Severns coming to the plate. Curtis Ellis is out of the University of St. Francis, his hometown of Bluffton, Indiana. I will defer in a moment to my friend Paul Blackburn sitting right below me to try to locate Bluffton in my own mind. I do not know where Bluffton, Indiana is, but if anybody does, the man who's been everywhere with Hank Snow is Paul Blackburn, and he's sitting right below me. But the pride of Bluffton, Indiana, ready to go to Ryan Severns. Ryan not bunting. Bends away from a slider up and in. Ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes to Ryan Severns as the Knights try to give Bryce Hill an early lead here. We're in the bottom of the second. Breaking ball drops in for a strike from Curtis Ellis. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. The University of St. Francis is also a new one on me, and that's also in the state of Indiana. Fort Wayne, I believe. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dakota Chun at second, nobody out. Bottom of the second inning, no score. Severns looks at another breaking ball and takes it for strike 2. 1-2 the count. Important at bat for Ryan right here. If he doesn't get Dakota Chun home, his job is to get Dakota moved to third. With 2 strikes, we'll see if he shortens it up a bit. He's got a big hole to shoot through on the right side, the 4 hole. The 1-2 pitch, he pulls it foul past Brooke Knight. And the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes here in the bottom of the second inning. This decisive Game 3, the Knights and Walla Sweets meeting in the playoffs for the 3rd time. If the Knights are to win this ball game and play Tuesday and win that one against either Portland or Ridgefield, they would go on the road for a single-game championship affair, either in Bellingham or Wenatchee. The Knights have never won a championship on the road. The pitch to Severns, he reaches out at the off-speed pitch and hits it foul back of the plate. The Knights have been in 14 championship series. They've won 10. All 10 triumphs have come in this ballpark. They won't have that luxury this time around, and they've got to, first things first, try to win tonight to get to Tuesday's 1-game playoff. The 1-2 pitch, breaking ball. Ryan does a nice job. He gets a piece of it to stay alive. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. A slow breaking pitch, and Ryan did a good job at the last moment to flick the wrist and get a little piece of it to stay up there. Dakota Chun a leadoff double, no score. Bottom of the second inning, Ryan Severns trying to get Dakota moved over with Max Medina on deck. Ellis delivers. Breaking ball swung on and missed. The pitch was in the turf. This will allow Chun to go to third. The throw to first on a productive strikeout is in time. Dakota Chun does take third on the strikeout wild pitch. One away. And that'll bring Max Medina to the plate. Not quite as glorious as the most productive strikeout wild pitch in the history of this ballpark. Some of you may recall in that magical 2017 season when the Beavers went 56-6 and 30-1 here at home. They were pretty good. The pitch to Medina, low, ball one. I think it was against Arizona. I'm trying to remember the opponent, but USC, thank you. Ben Crockett remembers. Adley Rutschman struck out on a wild pitch. The 1-0 pitch, a line drive, base hit by Max Medina into center field. Dakota Chun trots down the line to score, and the Knights enjoying something they didn't last night at any point, a lead, 1-0 in the bottom of the second. Max Medina drilling a base hit through the box. 1-0 Knights, Kellen Siegel, the batter. So what turns out to be a productive strikeout, getting Dakota Chun to third. He's able to score easily on a well-struck ball by Medina. Adley Rutschman struck out on a wild pitch, and Preston Jones raced around from second base and scored on the wild pitch. Line drive softly. Gage Reeser catches it off the bat of Kellen Siegel, throws back to first, not in time. 2 down, Zane Garvey, the batter. That is slightly disappointing in this respect. I mean, Kellen went up and attacked the first pitch, nothing wrong with that. But a guy like Max Medina is certainly capable of getting a bag. He's 15 for 20 on the year. Second on the club to Kellen, in fact. 4 stolen bases. Medina goes. The pitch is a strike, and so is the throw by Jalen Kennedy to Gage Reeser. And the inning is over. So Max Medina is caught to retire the side. The Knights do get a run, but the idea that if Kellen had taken a pitch or two to get Medina into scoring position, in a sense, put to rout by the catch and throw. Jalen Kennedy, quick reception, quick transfer, good pop to second, and the inning's over. But a leadoff double for Dakota Chun, an RBI single for Max Medina at the end of 2 in this decisive Game 3. The Knights won, and the Sweets nothing. Back in 90 on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio.
Welcome. We're looking to switch and heard about OCCU. In 20 words, what makes OCCU different?
OCCU has free interest earning checking, high yield savings, and a community focus.
That's only 11.
We're the credit union with duck and beaver cards.
Sounds like OCCU has a lot to offer.
OCCU has been around for 70 years. We've learned a thing or two.
Switch to OCCU. Apply online at myoccu.org or at your local branch.
One nothing Knights as we go to the top of the third inning at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field. Paul Blackburn has looked up Bluffton, Indiana. I think we have a pitch clock violation. Oh, is it on Bryce Hill at the start of the at-bat? Bryce wasn't ready to go to Schofield, so ball 1. The second pitch clock violation on Bryce tonight. 1-0 to Ronan Schofield. The 1-0 pitch is ball 2. So already kind of a sluggish start to the inning when you spot the hitter a ball on the count. And Bryce came back and missed again. Now the 2-0 pitch is ball 3. Let's just say last inning played out better. First pitch out. Now it's 3-0. 1-0 Knights in the third. The 3-0 pitch, ball 4. Crazy start to the inning with a ball before Bryce had even thrown a pitch. So Ronan Schofield draws the leadoff walk. Young man out of Juanita High School in Kirkland, Washington, is the tying run. And Kyler Bittner, the leadoff hitter who walked to open the game, steps in. Kyler having a good season. He hit .350 during the regular campaign in 11 ball games with 8 RBIs. 1-0 Knights, a leadoff walk, and the first pitch from Bryce is very high, ball 1. As Bruce Coburn sings, "Don't tell me there is no mystery." From one inning to the next, it's mysterious. So Bryce trying to kind of get himself settled back in now after the leadoff walk and a 1-0 count to Bittner. Fastball for a strike. And again, the Norm Sherry doctrine. Took a little off the fastball and gets a strike. 1-1 the count. Bittner and Reeser walked to open the ball game, and Bryce then worked his way through and put up a 0. A 1-2-3 inning last inning. His 1-1 pitch, a check swing, taken inside for ball 2. 2-1. Breeze is picking up. It's a little different in that respect tonight than last night. Schofield has not attempted a stolen, well, he has. He's been caught one time. But tonight, a different kind of evening. It's pleasant, but much more blustery. You can hear the wind perhaps blowing through, and it's kind of blowing out towards right and right center, not the usual outward to left. Here's a line drive to left, base hit. Kellen Siegel gets the ball back in. And so after taking the 1-0 lead, Bryce has given up a walk and a base hit and now is in a similar position as he was to start the game. 2 on and nobody out. He managed to get through that with a 0 and hoping he can find that kind of avenue again. With Gage Reeser, the batter, we'll see if Coach Rivera may ask Reeser to bunt here. On the season, just 9 sacrifices, but in this case, Coach Rivera, who hasn't deployed the sacrifice very often, is thinking about it right here. Gage Reeser shows bunt, takes a strike, 0-1 the count. 1-0 Knights in the third, Ronan Schofield at second, Kyler Bittner at first, nobody out. Big Bryce ready, again Reeser shows bunt and takes a fastball just outside. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. Come on, Blue. 1-1 the count, and Courtney's hearing it from within the Knights dugout, and I kind of understand it. It's an awfully tight zone, and Courtney just needs to get back to work. He gets into the Knights dugout a little bit. Just get back to work. And the Knights are fine. They're fine. 1 ball and 1 strike. Fans are getting on Courtney, too. Reeser bunts, and it's a good bunt. Tough play, fielded by Severns. The throw to first. The ball dropped by Diego Cruz, and everybody's safe. The throw was high from Severns. Bases loaded, nobody out, and the Sweets dugout going crazy. The Knights need to shut it down. Brooke Knight is calling time and is on his way out to the mound. Brooke, I think, wants interference to be considered against the runner crashing into Gage Reeser crashing into Diego Cruz, who came back down on the bag trying to retrieve the high throw from Severns. And Brooke Knight, I think, is 2 things. Either his guy held the ball long enough to constitute an out or was run into by the base runner, perhaps. I'm not sure what the nature of the argument from Brooke exactly is, but the Knights don't get an out on the play on an excellent bunt by Gage Reeser. So it'll be a sacrifice and E5, I assume, on Ryan Severns. The bases are loaded. Brook loses the argument. He stays with his hands on his hips, slightly up the line at third, continuing the argument with Jacob Fisher. And Jacob is saying, Brook, that's enough. We're going to play ball now. Brook was already a little bit upset about Courtney and squeezing Bryce Hill on the previous pitch, which would have run the count to 0-2. I think Brook is arguing that my guy had the ball long enough to constitute an out and then came off the bag and dropped the ball. And that's Brook's argument. He is saying that that should have been an out. That yes, he did drop the ball, but he was on the bag with the ball in his glove, finished the jumping on the bag and receiving the throw, then the ball came out. That's Brook Knight has lodged his complaint, and now he's going to get the umpires to talk about it. Another conversation, and I'm telling you, if this goes against the Sweets and the call is changed, then Brook has made his point and made it well, but Leo Rivera is not going to be a happy man, and I wouldn't blame him. My original call was Diego Cruz drops the ball and everybody's safe. And as much as I'd love to take up for Brook Knight in his argument that he thinks Diego held the ball long enough to constitute an out, I am not fully convinced. I'm right now in the little bit of the E.G. Marshall mode in 12 Angry Men who waited and waited and waited. I'm not convinced, and I'm not convinced. And finally, one more argument was made about glasses and marks on the nose. Yes, I'm convinced, not guilty. So I'm a little bit in the E.G. Marshall mode, and we'll see if the arguments by Brook Knight, the Henry Fonda kind of role here, has perhaps persuaded a change in call. The runner is safe. So the three umpires get together and talk about it. That leads to another big yelp from the Sweets dugout, and it'll be up to the Knights. They've got to do it. Walla Walla in a celebratory mode in this second inning. Their dugout is the loudest place in the ballpark. And so with the bases loaded and nobody out, and the Knights leading 1-0, Bryce Hill and the Knights with their work cut out for them. The pitch to Kane, laced to left. Back goes Kellen Siegel. The ball goes over his head. Ronan Schofield scores. Rounding third is Kyler Bittner. He will score. Walla Walla takes the lead 2-1 on a long single for Sam Kane. So 2-1, Walla Walla. The only noise in this ballpark from the Walla Walla dugout, and the Knights have to do everything they possibly can to shut it down. But so far, it's the Sweets enjoying the sweet life with Paul Davis and all that in their background. Gains Hawson, the batter. The pitch to Hawson. A ground ball slowly to Diego Cruz. He goes to Severns for one. The throw to first is not in time. I think Diego might have had a better chance to maybe try to tag the runner and then go to first. It's possible that the runner, Kane, would have tried to slow down and wouldn't have allowed himself to be tagged, but kind of a slow throw to Severns cost the Knights any chance for a double play ball there. A two-run single off the fence and left for Sam Kane. Schofield, who drew the leadoff walk, the dreaded leadoff walk, and then the base hit by Bittner. Both Schofield and Bittner score. Reeser aboard on the sacrifice and error. Kane, a two-run single. 2-1 Walla Walla. First and third, one out. Gains Hawson, the batter. Safety squeeze for Coach Rivera and the Swedes, and Hawson bunts it foul into the on-deck area. No balls and one strike. 2-1 Walla Walla in the third. The Swedes playing a good brand of baseball, and they deserve to be chirping and yopping within their dugout. They're bringing it to the Knights. They did last night after getting drubbed at home 15-5. No loss of confidence whatsoever for Walla Walla. Winning last night 3-2, eradicating an early deficit here to lead it 2-1. Looking for another with the safety squeeze on again. And Gaines Hawson takes high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. 2-1, Walla Walla in the top of the third inning. Runners at first and third and one out. The Knights infield at double play depth. For the left-hand hitting Logan Nakamura, Hassan aboard on the fielder's choice 4-6 with one away. Nakamura popped to short in his first at-bat. 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, he shows bunt. And did he miss the bunt attempt? No. And Brooke Knight is beside himself. Brooke is distraught. That's the third call of the inning that has gotten under the skin of Brooke Knight and the Knights. Bryce Hill walks off, and Courtney takes off his mask again. Courtney takes his mask off again and gets into the Knights dugout, and Brooke finally says to shut it down. 2 balls and a strike, 2-1 Walla Walla. The pitch on the way, bunted foul, back of the plate, and the count 2-2. Jim Courtney has twice this inning taken off his mask and gotten into the Knights dugout, and I don't see that too often, so the chirping must be fairly loud from Brooke and the Knights. And Brooke himself told his players, okay, that's enough. The message has been delivered. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2-1 Walla Walla in the third. Out of the stretch works Bryce Hill. The 2-2 pitch, a ground ball up the middle into center field. Base hit. Down the line to score is Gage Reeser. Walla Walla leads it 3-1 on the RBI single for Logan Nakamura. Stopping at second base on the play, Gaines Hawson. Logan Nakamura puts the Sweets up 3-1 in the Sweets dugout. Louder than I've heard a visiting dugout at any point in the spring or summer here at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field. Troy Osborne, the batter, grounded to short in his first at-bat. Some bullpen activity will begin back of Bryce Hill, which is a phrase I didn't expect to escape my lips. He throws a pitch down in the turf, a wild pitch, and both runners move up. So a tough night for Bryce Hill. Gaines Hawson on the wild pitch to third, Logan Nakamura to second, 3-1 Walla Walla, and they can deliver a knockout blow with a base hit here. I mean, it would feel like that. It would be a reeling blow, a 2-out hit, or a 1-out hit here. 3-1 Walla Walla in a decisive game 3, and the Knights in a very unfamiliar position. The 1-0 pitch, chopped foul past Coach Rivera. The Knights have been swinging the bats extremely well coming down the stretch and scored 15 runs with 16 hits at Borleski Stadium on Friday. They haven't gotten anything going really of note yet in this series at home. Losing last night 3-2, trailing this one 3-1. Bryce has been magnificent all summer, delivers this will get another run home. A fly ball to center field. Max Medina backs up. Tagging up is Gaines Hawson and will score. And Walla Walla with a 4-1 lead. Unbelievable, quite frankly, on the road in this decisive game 3. Great job by the Sweets. They've earned it. A 4-1 lead with Sam Kane coming down the line to score. Hawson
now batting the catcher, number 46, Jalen Kennedy.
with Jalen Kennedy, the batter, and Logan Nakamura going to third on the fly ball. The first pitch swung on and missed. 4-1 Walla Walla. So for the Knights to keep their season alive, they've got to find a way offensively tonight, clearly. They're down in the third, 4-1. Bryce works out of the windup. The strike one pitch on the way, lined into right field, but a great catch by Ethan Porter. Leaping up to take a base hit and run batted in away from Jalen Kennedy. 4 runs in the inning, though, for Walla Walla. So the Knights have a lot of work to do to keep their 2026 season alive. At the end of 2.5, Walla Walla 4, the Knights 1, back in 90 on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio. 4-1 Walla Walla. Bottom of the third inning, Zane Garvey takes a strike. The count 0-1 from the Pride of Bluffton, which I'm told is on the banks or near or along the banks of the Wabash Far Away, one of the great songs ever written. Zane Garvey taking a first pitch strike and waves at the 0-1 pitch from Curtis Ellis. Strike two. 0-2 the count. Zane Garvey, Joey Morosco, and Diego Cruz in the bottom of the third. The Knights trailing 4-1. Curtis Ellis shakes off his battery mate Jalen Kennedy. The strike two pitch taken just outside. Ball one, 1-2. One ball and two strikes. 4-1 Walla Walla. The Knights up against it here. Garvey swings and fouls it straight back. They were last night for most of the night when the Sweet scored 3 runs in the second. And the Knights encountered a 3-run deficit all the way to the 8th. Down 3-0, scored 2, and left the bases loaded. And lost 3-2, now down 4-1. Garvey swings and fouls one at the plate. The count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Zane Garvey, Joey Morosco, Diego Cruz, bottom of the third. If the Knights don't rally, it's the end of their season, and they would be eliminated at home for the 3rd consecutive year in the playoffs after winning 7 straight titles. Garvey trying to write a different script. Doesn't like the sound of that one. Swings at the 1-2 pitch, strokes it to center field, base hit. And Joey Morosco will be the batter. Joey, the right-hand hitting shortstop coming up, has had a tremendous summer. If this is the end of the line, it's disappointing on a lot of levels, but the primary one is just it's been so fun to be around this team and these guys. You want to see them play at least one more time in this ballpark on Tuesday, and they will if they can find their way back. First pitch to Joey, a looper to shallow center field. The shortstop going out, and a nice grab by Gage Reeser. 1 away, and Diego Cruz coming up. But a tremendous admiration for Walla Walla and their ability to bounce back from the pounding administered to them by the Knights at Borleski Stadium Friday. To come back in decidedly different kind of ball games anyway so far tonight and last night. 3-2 last night, 4-1 tonight. The visiting Sweets taking it to the hometown Knights, who have to try to dig deep and fight their way back in again. Diego Cruz takes a breaking ball strike from Curtis Ellis. 0-1 the count. A leadoff single for Zane Garvey. He's held on by Gaines Hawson at first. The strike one pitch, fastball up, and the count 1-1 to Diego. Diego flied out to center in his first at-bat. The outfield fanned out straight away for Coach Rivera's Walla Walla Sweets. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. The pitch on the way popped up on the left side. Gage Reeser calls. The shortstop backs up a few steps and makes the catch. 2 down. Maverick Russell, the batter. The Knights were very late starters last night, nearly pulled it off. In fact, it had the look that the Knights were going to get it done. Down 3-0 going to the bottom of the 8th, scored 2 and had the bases loaded with 1 out. And Trey Morse worked his way out of it, a tremendous relief performance. Now down 4-1 early tonight. The first pitch just misses to Maverick Russell. Ball 1, 1-0. Maverick grounded out in his first at-bat. Zane Garvey, a leadoff single. But he's still at first with 2 down. Curtis Ellis delivers a 1-0 pitch and misses. Ball 2, 2-0. Zane Garvey gets his lead. The 2-0 pitch on the way to Maverick, in there for a strike, and the count 2-1. Ethan Porter waiting on deck. From the stretch, the right-hander delivers a strike. That evens the count at 2-2. The home plate umpire, Jim Courtney, lost track of the count and was acting as though he was ringing up Maverick Russell. He has not ingratiated himself with Brooke or the Knights fans tonight by any stretch of the imagination. DJ Kawahi did an amazing job last night as the starter for Walla Walla, and so far so good for right-hander Curtis Ellis. The pitch, though, to Maverick Russell, stroked into right center field, base hit. Zane Garvey goes to third, and on the throw back in from the center fielder Sam Kane, missing the cutoff man. Good base running by Maverick Russell to take second. And that gives the Knights a huge opportunity in Ethan Porter coming to the plate to kind of change the vibe, the feel, the mood, the psychology of this ball game, because all of the momentum certainly rests in the Walla Walla dugout at the moment, and with their players on the field, they're feeling confident. Up 4-1, 2 outs. Ethan Porter has a chance to get a 2-out hit and change the mood dramatically right here. Nice swing by Maverick Russell. Porter swings and fouls the first pitch back. 0-1 the count. Zane Garvey at third, Maverick Russell at second, 2 down. 4-1 Walla Walla, bottom of the third. But the Knights with a chance for a significant response after seeing the Sweet score 4 in the top of the inning. Out of the stretch works Curtis Ellis. The strike 1 pitch to Porter. In there for strike 2. And Ethan down in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Zane Garvey at third, Maverick Russell at second. 0-2 to Ethan Porter. Dakota Chun on deck. Porter looking for a tough 2-strike approach here to try to do something big, get the Knights a little closer. The 0-2 pitch on the way, a line drive into right field, base hit, gigantic moment. Garvey scores, Maverick Russell does too. Ethan Porter on a 2-strike pitch goes the other way to right field, and the Knights within a run at 4-3. One of the more important swings of the summer of 2026, I'll be bound. Dakota Chun, the hitter. Dakota doubled and scored last inning. The Sweets leading 4-3. Last night, the Knights appeared to be on the verge of coming all the way back from the 3-0 deficit, but Walla Walla was able to shut the door. Dakota Chun keeps the door open here, slams the first pitch back up the middle into center. Base hit. Ethan Porter to second. Dakota Chun 2 for 2 is at first. Ryan Severns coming to the plate with a tying run in scoring position. Winner take all game 3 tonight, with Bryce Hill scuffling a little bit in the top of the inning. Bo Kearns and Brooke Knight sent a couple of arms down into their own bullpen. Looking at Walla Walla's situation, it's win or go home, and trying to see if anybody's throwing. It doesn't appear as so yet. But the Knights getting their 4th hit of the inning. They scored twice. They have the tying run at second. Go-ahead run at first. 2 down, bottom of the third. 4-3 Sweets. Ryan Severns struck out last inning. Looks at a curveball here and misses. Does Curtis Ellis with it. Ball 1, 1-0. Ethan Porter, a clutch 0-2, 2-out opposite field single to draw the Knights to within a run. Now Ethan at second, Dakota Chun his second hit. Dakota at first, 2 down. The pitch to Severns, lifted to left center field. Back goes Sam Kane. The ball carries over his head to the base of the fence. Porter scores. Dakota Chun being waved around. Reeser does not make the relay. A 2-run double for Ryan Severns. The Knights take the lead 5-4. Quite a wild third inning here at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field. 9 runs scored. 4 for the Walla Walla Sweets, and the Knights have come back to score 4, so 8 runs, pardon me, but the Knights now with 5 runs in the ballgame, leading 5-4. Tremendous response and a much-needed one by the Knights. All of the momentum, all of the energy, all of that within the Walla Walla camp, no doubt. But Zane Garvey led off the inning with a base hit. 2 outs later, it looked as though Curtis Ellis was about to work his way out of trouble. But since then, Maverick Russell a base hit, Ethan Porter a 2-run single, Dakota Chun a base hit, and a 2-run double for Ryan Severns. The Knights get the lead back at 5-4. A visit to the hill from the pitching coach, Corey Keir. And now Max Medina, the hitter, trying to keep it going for the Knights, who have come to life suddenly in the bottom of the third to take the lead back. Medina hoping to keep the momentum going. He had an RBI single last inning, looking for another one here in the third. Coach Keir back into the dugout for the Sweets. Some activity has begun back of Curtis Ellis. The right-hander delivers a first pitch strike to Max Medina. 0-1 the count. Ryan Severns blasting a 2-run double to the alley in left center off the Hotel Corvallis sign in the deep alley in left center field. Ryan gets his lead from second. Ellis out of the stretch. The right-hander strike one pitch to Medina. Misses a little bit low in the count 1-1. One ball and one strike with a great 2-out response by the Knights. Garvey a leadoff single, but 2 outs later now, the Knights have come through with 4 consecutive hits and the lead. Medina takes a strike and the count 1-2. Kellen Siegel, the on-deck hitter. Five to 4 Knights, bottom of the third inning. 1-2 the count. A right-hander getting ready back of Curtis Ellis. Time is called and a pitch clock violation on Curtis. Bryce Hill has had 2 assessed against him. That evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. For Walla Walla in the bullpen, it's right-hander Jacob Chandler loosening. The 2-2 pitch to Medina, slapped into left field, base hit. Ryan Severns being waved around on his way to the plate. He will score. 5 straight hits for the Knights, an RBI single again for Medina, and the Knights lead it 6-4. Kellen Siegel will be the hitter. 6-4 Knights in the bottom of the third inning. The Knights have used the whole field. 6 hits in the inning, 5 in a row. Great job of hitting by the Knights throughout. An opposite field RBI single for Medina. Ethan Porter drove in 2 runs with a base hit to right. Kellen Siegel swings and cues 1 foul up along first. 0-1 the count. Kellen is the 9th man to come to the plate in the inning. And the Knights leading 6-4 here in the bottom of the third. Kellen trying to keep it going. A right-hander, Chandler, throwing back of Curtis Ellis. No balls and 1 strike to Kellen. The 0-1 pitch misses high from Curtis. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. Coach Knight goes through the signs at third. Max Medina has been caught stealing tonight. With 2 down, we'll see if he might be given another chance. Kellen swings and misses in the count 1-2. A really good transfer by Jalen Kennedy and threw out Medina easily. Max 15 for 21 on the year in steals. 2 for 2 tonight with 2 RBIs. Medina gets his lead. The 1-2 pitch to Kellen misses up and away. Ball 2, 2-2. Kellen backs out, has a look at Coach Knight. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Medina's second on the club in stolen bases to Kellen Siegel. Bluffs. The 2-2 pitch is chased and missed. Strike 3. The inning is over, but what an inning it is for the Knights, who needed it almost desperately after giving up 4 to fall behind in this winner-take-all game. The Knights rally back for 5 runs and 6 hits, no errors. They leave 1 at the end of 3. Interesting game to be sure to settle this divisional series. The Knights 6, Walla Walla 4, back in 90 on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio. Innings at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field. A wild ride. The Knights 6 runs, 8 hits, and 1 error. Walla Walla 4 runs, 3 hits, and no errors. Bryce Hill's first pitch in the 4th to Keegan Kelly in there for a strike. The 0-1 pitch missing down and away. 1-1 to Keegan, who hit the ball sharply off Bryce's leg and subsequently grounded out. The 1-1 pitch, he's hit by the pitch. And Keegan will go down to first, getting drilled by the fastball, checking his swing, and goes down to first on the hit batsman. Boy, that couldn't have felt good. That's a mid-90s fastball, and it appears to be his right hand that got drilled by the offering from Bryce. The trainer for Walla Walla comes out to take a look at Keegan. Keegan is the second baseman for the Sweets. And it's another free pass to open an inning. The 3rd out of 4 innings tonight that's happened for Bryce. And he was able to get out of trouble in the 1st inning. A 1-2-3 inning in the 2nd. The last inning, a leadoff walk, ended up leading to a 4-run inning for the Sweets and a 4-1 lead. The Knights eradicating that with a huge outburst, 5 runs and 6 hits to lead it. But now a hit batter to open the 4th. Ronan Schofield, who drew the leadoff walk last inning and scored a run. The first of 4 comes to the plate. 6-4 Knights, top of the 4th. Bryce Hill to the plate. Schofield rips it into right field. Base hit. Zane Garvey plays it on a couple of hops, and Kelly goes to 3rd. Folks, buckle up. That's about all I can say. This is not the kind of game I was expecting tonight with Bryce Hill. He is a tremendous pitcher and really has to find himself here tonight. The Sweets, to their great credit, are attacking. They have put pressure on him from the get-go. And Bryce is just trying to figure out, as I talked about with Luke Duncan before the game, you kind of find out, what really about your mental what you're all about when, if you don't have best command and you're best up, what can you do in those situations? And the Sweets, after falling behind, have runners at first and third and nobody out. The tying runs on base, coming right back at the Knights, to their credit. Kyler Bittner taking all the way. Takes a breaking ball down and away. Ball 1, 1-0. The Knights infield at double play depth, leading 6-4. First and third, nobody out. The 1-0 fastball. Very high. Ball 2, 2-0. Bo Kearns will come out to the mound for a conversation. Twofold purpose. Trying to help Bryce Hill, yes, but also giving whomever it is loosening in the pen time to continue to do that with a little more purpose and energy, and urgency even. A hit batter, solid single to right for Schofield. And a count of 2-0 to Kyler Bittner. Have the Walla Walla Sweets right back in business after the Knights did a great job to, in a sense, you would think, rest momentum completely back in their camp, but Walla Walla unfazed by it. So Bo Kearns out for a conversation with Bryce, joined by the entire infield here in the fourth. Ethan Porter at first, Diego Cruz at second, Joey Morosco at short, Ryan Severns at third. Dakota Chun comes back to settle in back of the plate. The outfield for the Knights comprised of Kellen Siegel in left, Max Medina in center, and Zane Garvey in right. First and third, nobody out. 2-0 to Kyler Bittner. Gage Reeser on deck. Bryce, the 6'5" righty, settles in, delivers, hit foul over my head and into the entry area of Goss Stadium at Coleman Field, off of the roof of the bicycle area, and the youngsters give chase. 2 balls and 1 strike to Kyler Bittner. With nobody out, first and third, the pitch on the inside corner for a strike, off speed, just did nick the inside corner to even the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 6-4 Knights. Top of the fourth, the Sweets threatening again. Hill from the stretch. The 2-2 fastball taken, strike 3 called, 1 away. Beautifully located fast one from Bryce Hill. And now Gage Reeser, the batter. Gage has walked and sacrificed. And on the sacrifice, also aboard on a throwing error by Ryan Severns on a controversial play at first. Brooke Knight thought that he had gotten an out on the play that Diego Cruz, in trying to retrieve the high throw from Severns. Brooke felt that Diego had the ball on the bag long enough to constitute an out. The ball did pop out of Diego's glove. Reeser takes in the turf. Good block by Dakota Chun. 1 ball and no strikes. I rarely disagree with Brooke on interpretations. He knows more and is usually correct when I'm not, but I thought the base umpire made the right call on that play, as close and tough as it was. The 1-0 pitch inside, ball 2. 2-0 to Gage Reeser. First and third, 1 out in the fourth. 6-4 Knights. Bryce would love to find a ground ball in his repertoire here and get out of it with a double play. The big right-hander from Connecticut, out of the stretch. The 2-0 pitch instead is a fly ball to right that'll get a run home. Zane Garvey charged it, nearly had the ball carry over his head, recovered to make the catch. Pardon me for the sounds not of silence but of startlement. Zane made the catch. Keegan Kelly tagged and scored. But for a moment it looked like disaster might strike on that play. It's now 6-5 Knights on the sacrifice fly by Gage Reeser. Garvey did catch it. Brooke Knight is on his way to the mound, and that's going to be it for Bryce Hill, with Sam Kane, who has flied to left and doubled home a couple of runs, coming to the plate. So Bryce Hill will leave with the lead, the tying run at first base with 2 outs. Bryce has been a joy to watch this summer. He's got a big-time future at Stanford, and I believe, an outstanding pro career coming. And it's a pleasure to have him summer with the Corvallis Knights in 2022. This is probably his final outing as a Knight. Great to have him here, and we'll be following his career in the days ahead. Wilson Motors' call to the bullpen goes out. We'll take a 2-minute pitching change break. The Knights clinging to a 6-5 lead in the fourth with a long way to go. Sam Kane will be the hitter. We'll be back in 2 with Cooper Markham coming in. Back in 2 on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio. Five Knights, top of the fourth. Cooper Markham facing Sam Kane, falls behind. 2 balls and no strikes to the right-hand hitting center fielder. The 2-0 pitch swung on and missed. Cooper during the summer, 11 appearances, 17 innings, just 6 hits allowed, 14 walks, 29 strikeouts in the 17 innings. 2 balls and a strike with a runner at first. The tying run represented by Ronan Schofield. The 2-1 pitch to Sam Kane, foul back. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count to Kane. Out of Bishop Minogue Catholic in Reno. Playing at Seattle U. The 2-2 pitch from Cooper Markham, University of Oregon, right-hander, is high, ball 3. So that gives the tying run at first, Ronan Schofield, the chance to take off with a pitch. 3-2, 2 down to Kane. Gaines Hawson on deck. Cooper Markham coming out of the bullpen to replace Bryce Hill, delivers the 3-2 pitch, fouled straight back. And Cooper Markham is throwing hard. Mid-90s fastballs coming from Cooper. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs in the top of the fourth, 6-5 Knights. Schofield again ready to go. He does. The 3-2 breaking ball is high and away, ball 4. The tying run at second base with 2 outs. Gaines Hawson to the plate. Gaines is struck out and bounced into a fielder's choice.
First baseman, number 14, Gaines Hawson.
Gaines Hawson out of Cumberland University in Lebanon, Tennessee. The pitch on the way, fastball in there. Well located by Knights right-hander Cooper Markham. No balls and 1 strike. With 2 on and 2 out, a run in. 6-5 Knights, top of the fourth. The strike 1 pitch, down and in. 1-1 to Gaines Hawson. If the Knights prevail, they play here Tuesday night, 6:35 for the South Division Championship and the chance to play in the title game, which would take place Thursday. Slider swung on and missed. Really good-looking pitch from Cooper. And the count goes to 1-2. Ronan Schofield at second. Sam Kane at first. 2 down. 1-2 to Gaines Hawson. Logan Nakamura on deck. Cooper Markin on in relief in the fourth. Set, delivers the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball chased and missed. Strike 3. The pitch was in the turf. Dakota Chun applies the tag on Hawson, and the inning is over. The Sweets do scratch and claw back for a run on a hit. No errors. 2 left. We go to the bottom of the fourth in this decisive Game 3 in Corvallis. It's the Knights 6, the Sweets 5, back in 90. With a new pitcher coming in out of the bullpen for Walla Walla. Back in 90 on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio.
At Eugene Airport, we want to say thank you. Thank you to our community for choosing us to connect you to many destinations, other cultures, your families, and friends. Thank you to our dedicated and professional staff for ensuring the airport experience is excellent. And thank you to local residents and businesses for making us who we are. We are proud to serve you, our region, and beyond. Together, we continue to grow and thrive. Thank you for flying local and for flying EUG. The Jackhammer Country. Jacob, the right-hander, loosening up, 5'11", 180. David James Duncan Country as well, setting the Brothers K in it. Wonderful novel. Sprawling, far-ranging, wide-reaching, but a lot of good baseball in it, and a lot of Camas in it. The pride of Camas, Jacob Chandler, takes over for the Walla Walla Sweets in the bottom of the fourth. The Knights batted around last inning and scored 5 runs. It was Zane Garvey who got it started with a base hit to center. The Knights took a 6-4 lead into the top of the fourth inning. Walla Walla got one back at 6-5, and now Zane Garvey hoping to get something started again. The pitch from Chandler lifted foul off to the left and out of play. No balls and 1 strike in this decisive Game 3 at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field. Jacobs had a very good summer in a pretty small sample size. He delivers to Zane a strike. 8 innings, 7 hits, just 1 earned run with 3 walks and 9 strikeouts for Chandler. 0-2 to Zane Garvey. Joey Morosco on deck with Diego Cruz to follow. Chandler's strike 2 pitch, breaking ball away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count. Both starters out of the ball game now. Jacob Chandler picking up for Curtis Ellis.
Breaking ball just missed. And the count to Zane Garvey, University of Portland bound, evens up. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 6-5 Knights in the bottom of the 4th. Chandler works out of the stretch with nobody on. The right-hander back to the plate. The 2-2 pitch is laced toward the gap into left center. A diving try by Kane. The ball gets by him to the warning track. Garvey on his way for 2 and will get there. Ronan Schofield gets the ball back in. A leadoff double for Zane Garvey to left center. And once again, he hopes to be the catalyst to a big inning. He singled last inning. 2 outs later, the Knights got really hot with 5 straight hits and scored 5 runs for the lead. Zane Garvey now 2 for 2 on the night, a leadoff double, and Joey Morosco will be the hitter. We'll see how Coach Knight wants to play this one. Joey is a good bunter. He popped to short in the 3rd.
Shortstop number 7, Joey Morosco.
Jacob Chandler giving up a double to his future teammate in Zane Garvey. Both will be Portland Pilots in the fall, and we'll see them next spring. Morosco is bunting and misses the bunt attempt. 0-1 the count. 6-5 Knights, bottom of the 4th inning. Morosco had 4 sacrifice hits on the season. The Knights as a club with 26, and again, only 9 for their opponent in Walla Walla. Garvey at second, nobody out. 0-1 to Joey Morosco, who again looks bunt and takes a strike. And now he's down in the count, 0-2. Good breaking ball from Chandler. No balls and 2 strikes, with the Knights leading 6-5, and indeed in a real fight with the Walla Walla Sweets to settle this series tonight in Corvallis. Garvey getting his lead from second. Morosco takes, not showing bunt, takes low, ball 1, 1-2. Diego Cruz on deck. Top sun for Ronan Schofield out in left, shielding the sun with his glove as he awaits Jacob Chandler's 1-2 delivery to Joey Morosco. Garvey at second, nobody out. The 1-2 pitch, breaking ball away. Ball 2, 2-2. Joey getting ready for a return to Newburgh. I have a feeling that before it's all said and done for Joey, he'll have an opportunity to play at D1. The 2-2 pitch, he swings and fouls it back. The count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes to Joey Morosco, with the Knights leading 6-5 in the bottom of the 4th inning. A leadoff double for Zane Garvey. And just watching the approach of Walla Walla last night and tonight, it would behoove the Knights to increase the lead. Walla Walla keeps coming. The 2-2 pitch, a 1-hopper to the hole at short, backhanded by Gage Reeser. The throw to first is in time. Nicely done by Reeser, and Joey not able to get Zane Garvey moved. 1 away, and Diego Cruz hopes to move him all the way home with a base hit. Diego has flied out and popped to short. Diego has some future teammates in the ballpark tonight. Dax Whitney is here. Tegan Scott and other Beavers are here. But Dax taking in a ball game here at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field. There is some degree of hope. I know Dax wants to. After his Tommy John surgery, the pitch on the way. Diego loops one into right center field for a base hit. Zane Garvey's going to be waved around. They're going to challenge Sam Kane. The throw to the plate, a great slide by Garvey, and he's in. A gamble by Brooke Knight, a tremendous slide by Garvey, a slap RBI single for Cruz, and the Knights lead it 7-5. Well, with only one out, I was a little surprised that Brooke, with the hot-hitting Maverick Russell coming up, decided to challenge the Sweets and Kane by sending Garvey. But he trusted that Zane would get a good head of speed coming down the line and make the intelligent slide that he did. Cruz goes. The pitch is a strike. The throw to second. And Diego Cruz is out. Excellent work by Jalen Kennedy twice now. And he is a good catch and throw receiver. He has very quickly gotten Medina and Cruz. Diego had a good jump, but it was Jalen Kennedy's throw to Reeser that beat him. So the second Knight caught stealing. 2 down, 7-5 Knights. Maverick Russell took a strike on behalf of Cruz, who's gunned down by Jalen Kennedy. The pitch to Maverick, ripped on a hop to second baseman Keegan Kelly. Crow hops, pumps, and throws to first, and that's that. So after the Knights get the lead increased again to 2 runs at 7-5, quickly 2 outs on back-to-back pitches, and that ends the Knights' 4th inning. But great to see Dax Whitney here. He is hopeful to pitch a little bit after his recovery late next spring, perhaps around NCAA tournament time. That was his expressed intent and goal, to try to pitch a little for the Knights next spring. Anyway, it's Cooper Markham who pitches for the program down the road now with a 2-run lead as we go to the 5th. The Knights 7, Walla Walla 5, back in 90 on Joe Radio.
No matter what team you're on, no matter where you explore, there's a Richardson for you. We don't just give you our word, we give you our name. We started over 50 years ago as a hometown sporting goods business, with a particular devotion to America's pastime. As we grew, so did demand for our products, both on and off the field of play. Today we serve teams, brands, and businesses, and we've earned our reputation as the best. We did it through our devotion to our craft and our customers. We've built our business on the spirit of competition and the thrill of adventure, with a relentless focus on details and an enduring commitment to quality in every stitch. We've set a high bar for ourselves because you've made our team part of your team. And your team deserves the best.
Seven to 5 Knights to the top of the 5th inning. Logan Nakamura steps in against Cooper Markham. The right-hander's first pitch is a fastball a little low, ball 1. Cooper's 1-0 pitch, breaking ball drops in for a strike. 1-1 the count to Nakamura, who's popped to short and singled home a run. The Sweets 4 in the 3rd inning, 1 in the 4th, and now down 7-5. As we set sail in this adventuresome game into the 5th. The 1-1 fastball inside, ball 2, 2-1. Logan Nakamura, Troy Osborne, and Jalen Kennedy, the scheduled hitters for Walla Walla. The winner advances to a Tuesday title game for the South. The loser season ends. The 2-1 pitch is high, ball 3, 3-1. The championship game then 48 hours after that, and would take place either in Wenatchee or Bellingham. The 3-1 pitch, fastball on the inside corner from right-hander Cooper Markham. 3-2 the count. The 3-2 pitch from Cooper, a ground ball wide of first, backhanded by Ethan Porter. He'll take it to the bag himself, 1 away. The second time tonight that the Knights have retired the leadoff hitter. And that brings the designated hitter Coming to the plate will be Troy Osborne. I heard him announced by Ross moments ago as Trey. The program says Troy. I'm going to make a quick study and try to make sure that we're getting that properly pronounced here on the live stream. The first pitch to Osborne misses for ball one. The 1-0 pitch up and in, ball two, 2-0. I have a Troy Osborne baseball for Sacramento State. The 2-0 pitch inside, ball three, 3-0. We talked about him last night, hailing out of Grants Pass. I believe that it is Troy Osborne. The 3-0 pitch, fastball for a strike, and the count 3-1. Troy Osborne at the University of Portland played 17 games for the Pilots this past spring. So I'm going to stick with Troy, even though I heard Trey out of the McGrath family press box moments ago. The 3-1 pitch to Troy hit foul off of the Dixon Rec facade to the right and out of play. 3-2 to Troy Osborne. Cooper Markham has gone to a full count on both hitters thus far in the inning. He got Nakamura to ground out. Now 3-2 to Troy Osborne. Fastball foul back. Nice looking swing from Troy. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Troy showed some real competitive zeal last night when he tried to catch a foul ball near his on-deck area on the first base side near the dugout and crashed into the fence. The 3-2 pitch to Troy popped up on the right side. He didn't want to come out, even though he had crashed in somewhat violently. The catch made by Diego Cruz on the right side, 2 down. And when I think the prudent decision was made to take him out of the game, the zealous competitor in him, he was fired up. He kind of threw his catcher's mitt down into the dugout well, frustrated that he was coming out of the game. He wanted to stay in, but he was lying supine for a while on the artificial turf, being tended to by the trainer, and it almost looked like an automatic move to get him out of the game. Jalen Kennedy, a ground ball to the hole at short. Morosco backhands and fires to first in time, and a solid 1-2-3 inning for Cooper Markham, and a good arm flashed indeed by Joey Morosco to get Jalen Kennedy. A 1-2-3 frame for Cooper Markham. We go to the bottom of the 5th, the Knights 7, Walla Walla 5, back in 90 on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio.
Rolling with the crew, where good vibes meet good times. Retro keys, vintage vibes, unlock your next adventure. Pups got the hookup too, belly rubs included. Space to kick back, laugh out loud, and just be. Hit the pop shop for quick snacks and take in the moment, or just chill with your pup and soak up the good life. Stay original at Hotel Corvallis.
Ethan Porter, who had one of the game's most important swings with the Knights down 4-1 with 2 outs in the 3rd inning, delivered a 2-out, 2-run single to draw on an 0-2 count. A strike away from being down 4-1 after 3, and Porter served it into right. The Knights ended up scoring 5 runs in the inning, now lead at 7-5. Chandler's first pitch to Ethan misses for ball 1. Jacob back to the plate. The breaking ball misses. Behind the count to Porter. 2 balls and no strikes. Ethan struck out looking in his first at-bat and was down 0-2 in the third and delivered the 2-out, 2-run single, and the Knights were on their way back. 7-5 Knights here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Chandler misses down and away for ball 3. 3-0. Wade Meckler went 1 for 4 today for the Angels in a 12-3 loss to Miami. Michael Conforto went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs, and Matty Boyd picking up the victory. The 3-0 pitch, a strike, in a 10-2 win for the Cubs over Kansas City. Former Knight, former Beaver, Matty Boyd went 8 1/3. 7 hits, 5 runs, 2 earned. Porter swings at the 3-1 pitch, a chopper to third. Kyler Bittner's throw to first, just in time for the out. 1 away. And Dakota Chun, the hitter. Sidney, was that his 10th win today?
It's his
8th win.
The 8-1 you read is his record.
Okay, so his record now is 8-1. He went 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts from Matty Boyd. Stephen Kwan, another former Corvallis Knight and champion in 2016 with the Knights. National champion with the Beavers 2 years later. Kwani for the Guardians went 2 for 5 with a run scored. Travis Bazana, champion with the Knights in 21. 0 for 3 in a 5-3 Guardians loss to the White Sox. The Guardians are really scuffling. Dakota Chun takes low, ball 1. I think Cleveland 3 under now. Chun, a slicing fly ball to left field, moving over is Ronan Schofield to make the catch. Dakota's had a good ball game. Double to right and scored in the second. Single to center and scored in the third. Makes out for the first time tonight on the fly ball to left. Quickly 2 away. And Ryan Severns will be the hitter. Ethan Porter's base hit was big, obviously, but Ryan Severns, probably given the opportunity, delivered a 2-out, 2-run double in the third to give the Knights the lead. He takes a strike, 0-1 the count. 2 down, nobody on, 7-5 Knights, bottom of the 5th. Chandler strike 1 pitch, a breaking ball bounced in the count, 1-1. Brooks Lee, a champion with the Knights in 2019, went 2 for 5 and blasted his 17th home run of the year for the Minnesota Twins in their loss to Milwaukee in 10. Brooks Lee, a great night here in 2019, 2 for 5. Former Beaver Trevor Lornick went 0 for 3. The 1-1 pitch to Severn, sliced down the right field line. It's a long run and too long, but foul for Logan Nakamura. Just foul down the right field line. Ryan Severn's missing an extra base hit, not by much. But he'll come back and try it again with a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 down and nobody on in the bottom of the 5th inning. 7-5 Knights. The Knights trying to play their way into a Tuesday night single game South Division Championship affair with either Portland or Ridgefield. They had an absolutely amazing game last night at the Rourke. Ridgefield kept its season alive thanks to Josh Proctor and Braden Watson. The 1-2 pitch missing high and inside. Proctor with a 3-run blast that gave Ridgefield the lead in the 8th. Portland came back and was about to eliminate Ridgefield. Ground ball off the bat of Ryan Severns to second baseman Keegan Kelly, who throws out Severns, and it's a good inning for Jacob Chandler, retiring the Knights in order. But down 2 runs with 2 on and 2 out and 2 strikes in the bottom of the 9th inning. Braden Watson, a 3-run walk-off homer. And Ridgefield kept its season alive, and they're playing the Pickles tonight to try to earn the right to play the winner of this game on Tuesday. It would be here if the Knights prevail. We are through 5. the Knights 7 and Walla Walla 5. Back in 90 on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio. Ethan Buckley pinch hits for Walla Walla as we go to the top of the sixth. Then in 7-5 Knights, Markham to the plate, and the first pitch misses for ball one. Meanwhile, the Pickles and Ridgefield in another close ball game, 4-3 Pickles. Can't quite see what inning that is, midway through thereabouts. Markham's 1-0 pitch, fastball for a strike. Cooper evens the count at 1-1 to Ethan Buckley, pinch hitting here in the top of the sixth for Walla Walla, with the Knights leading 7-5. A couple of decisive game threes in both the South Division series. Markham's fastball inside, ball two. 2-1 to the pinch hitter Ethan Buckley in the top of the sixth. Ethan out of Cape Town, South Africa. Played at Lynn Benton for Andy Peterson in 23 and 24. And is competing now, had a big year at Central Washington in Ellensburg, had a team leading 11 doubles. Played with Gonzaga, played in 5 ball games in 25, and then moved on to Central Washington this past spring. He fouls one back. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the pinch hitter Ethan Buckley for Walla Walla in the sixth. Markham's 2-2 breaking ball swung out and missed, strike 3. Markham has retired 5 in a row, and Ryan Schofield to the plate. Ryan has walked and singled to right field. Ronan Schofield, pardon me. Ronan to the plate with 1 out and nobody on in the sixth. Left-handed hitter awaits Cooper Markham, who works out of the stretch with nobody on. First pitch just outside, ball 1, 1-0. Markham ready. Cooper's 1-0 pitch. Swung on and fouled back. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ronan Schofield, big, strong, physical hitter. Out of Kirkland, Washington, awaits the 1-1 pitch. That's down. Ball 2, 2-1. The Knights leading 7-5, trying to bring this one home and give themselves another opportunity in this ballpark on Tuesday. Schofield swings and fouls one back off the mask of the Knights catcher Dakota Chun. 2-2 to Ronan, 5'11", 180-pounder. On his way to Washington State, so we'll be seeing more of Ronan in the new Pac-12. 2-2 pitch sails high and away, ball 3, 3-2. A couple of writers I know are doing a story on kind of revisiting, for the purposes of introducing, in a sense, this fall, the new Pac-12. The 3-2 pitch to Ronan, a ground ball wide of first, grabbed by Ethan Porter. Ethan will take it to the bag himself, 2 down. They're doing a story in their starting point on the demise of the old Pac-12. Their point of departure is the Oregon State Husky game at Reeser across the way in football in 23, which was, as it turned out, and it was Oregon State's last home game in the legacy Pac-12, the old Pac-12, and it was an amazing game. The Huskies survived with Jamarcus Shepard as the receivers coach, Michael Penix, you may have heard of him, the quarterback, Rome Odunze, Jalen Polk and company. They came in number 5 in the country and escaped with a 22-20 win in the rain, and that seemed to be that was it. The last kind of hurrah for the Beavers as a Pac-12 school trying to play their way into being invited somewhere else. The strike 1 pitch to Kyler Bittner in there for strike 2. 2 down, nobody on. The Knights leading here 7-5, but just thinking about Washington State, Oregon State, and all that the two programs have been through, it's something else. The strike 2 fastball inside. The ball goes all the way to the backstop. 95-mile-per-hour heater to the backstop on Kyler Bittner. 1-2 the count. The argument from those writers putting this story together is, had the Beavers beaten Washington that night, then the whole Jonathan Smith leaving that unfolded the following Civil War week might not have unfolded in the way that they did. And maybe they beat Oregon, and maybe somebody says, we got to have Oregon State in our league if they've just beaten Washington and Oregon in back-to-back weeks and are in the playoff conversation, which they certainly would have been. But they weren't. They didn't. They lost 22-20. Then they lost the next week, too. And then their coach left to East Lansing. So it all got unraveled quickly, right? The 2-2 pitch, fastball, swung on and missed. Strike 3 from Cooper Markham. All of that to say good times are ahead for Ronan Schofield at Washington State, Ethan Porter and company at Oregon State, Cooper Markham down the road in his league, and Cooper pitching very well, retires the side in order again. 7 straight retired by Markham, or by Knights pitching. Cooper Markham issued a walk and has retired 7 in a row since coming on. We go to the bottom of the 6th, still the Knights 7, Walla Walla 5, back in 90 on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio.
Rolling with the crew, where good vibes meet good times. Retro keys, vintage vibes, unlock your next adventure. Poop's got the hookup too, belly rubs included. Space to kick back, laugh out loud, and just be. Hit the pop shop for quick snacks and take in the moment, or just chill with your pup and soak up the good life. Stay original at Hotel Corvallis.
At Eugene Airport, we want to say thank you. Thank you to our community for choosing us to connect you to many destinations, other cultures, your families, and friends. Thank you to our dedicated and professional staff for ensuring the airport experience is excellent. And thank you to local residents and businesses for making us who we are. We are proud to serve you, our region, and beyond. Together, we continue to grow and thrive. Thank you for flying local and for flying EUG.
Max Medina leads matters off against Jacob Chandler, runs up to bunt and bunts foul. No balls and a strike to Max, who was walked. Max Medina has singled home a run in the second and singled home a run in the third, and leads off against Jacob Chandler, who has pitched well out of the bullpen. In fact, both starters had their share of struggles tonight, but the bullpen has been excellent for both thus far, Jacob Chandler and Cooper Markham. 7-5 Knights, bottom of the 6th. The strike 1 pitch to Max Medina misses high and away. 1-1 the count. Max Medina, Kellen Siegel, and Zane Garvey against Jacob Chandler. The 1-1 pitch, breaking ball in there. Good pitch from Jacob in the count 1-2. One ball and 2 strikes to Max Medina. Bottom of the 6th. The Knights 7 runs and 10 hits. Walla 5 runs, 4 hits. The pitch to Medina taken high and away. Ball 2. 2-2. What a solid player Max has been, just all summer long, contributing in so many different ways and trying to be the spark plug again here in the 6th. He swings, and it's a high fly to left, but playable for Ronan Schofield. Ronan is right there to make the catch. 1 away. Coach Knight, who was my pregame show guest yesterday for the first time all summer, been trying to get as many players on our pregame shows as possible. But he cited Max Medina as just being kind of a Tommy Henrik type player, right? He didn't say Tommy Henrik, but you know, when I think of reliability, I know you do too, old reliable, Tommy Henrik. And that's exactly what Max Medina has been all summer long. He flies out to open the bottom of the 6th inning. Kellen Siegel takes a strike, 0-1 the count. 1 out, nobody on, 7-5 Knights. Kellen swings and sprays 1 foul towards Casey Corner down the right field side. No balls and 2 strikes to Kellen. That sense of reliability showing up with both the M&M boys. The team leader, Joey Morosco, leading the team in starts with Max right behind him. Kellen Siegel, a fly ball to right center and fairly deep, but playable. Drifting back to make the catch, Logan Nakamura. 2 down in the bottom of the 6th. Zane Garvey, the hitter. The game in the the 3rd, 4th innings, I mean, it got a little crazy there. We saw 9 runs scored in the 3rd between the 2 teams, then each scored a run in the 4th. But here in the middle innings now, kind of settling in what we expect to be, as Brooke Knight said, he expects a close, tough series the rest of the way. Garvey trying to go 3 for 3, hits a looper into left field and does. Ronan Schofield plays the baseball on a hop, and Zane Garvey has singled to center, doubled to left, and now singles to left. And Joey Morosco will come to the plate. A 2-out base hit for Zane. 11 hits for the Knights now. A really big 3rd, one of the more important innings of this season, obviously, in an elimination game. But the Knights scored 5 runs, all after 2 out. 5 consecutive 2-out hits to score 5 and take the lead. They're now leading 7-5 in the bottom of the 6th. Morosco, a fly ball to center. Sam Kane really doesn't have to move. Sam puts it away, and the Knights are gone in the 6th inning. No runs, a hit, a man left. We go to the 7th. Cooper Markham has been excellent, but he will be changed out here now. It looks like the Knights are going to the bullpen. Not quite sure whom, but we'll take a 2-minute Wilson Motors pitching change break and find out. 7-5 Knights to the 7th. Back in 2 on the live stream and Joe Radio.
Welcome. We're looking to switch and heard about OCCU. In 20 words, what makes OCCU different?
OCCU has free interest earning checking, high yield savings, and a community focus.
That's only 11.
We're the credit union with duck and beaver cards.
Sounds like OCCU has a lot to offer.
OCCU has been around for 70 years. We've learned a thing or two.
Switch to OCCU. Apply online at myoccu.org or at your local branch.
Rolling with the crew, where good vibes meet good times. Retro keys, vintage vibes, unlock your next adventure. Pups got the hookup too, belly rubs included. Space to kick back, laugh out loud, and just be. Hit the pop shop for quick snacks and take in the moment, or just chill with your pup and soak up the good life. Stay original at Hotel Corvallis.
Through 6 innings at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field, the Knights 7 runs, 11 hits, and 1 error. Walla 5 runs, 4 hits, and no errors. Left-hander Colin Novacek takes over for Cooper Markham, becomes the third pitcher of the night, goes to work on Gage Reeser. Gage swings at the first pitch, doesn't get it. No balls and 1 strike. The 0-1 pitch fouled at the plate, and Colin is quickly ahead to Gage. No balls and 2 strikes in the top of the 7th inning. The Knights leading 7-5, trying to play their way into a Tuesday night ball game against either Portland or Ridgefield. Portland has upped the lead to 7-3 at the Rourke. And whichever team prevails in that series, if the Knights win here, that team will come to Goss. The strike 2 pitch, Reeser fouls it off his front foot and goes a-limping around the batter's boxes. That doesn't feel good. He walked in the first, did Gage, sacrificed and scored a run in the third, getting aboard on an error. Had a sacrifice fly in the fourth, in a catcher's crouch now, trying to let the pain abate just a little bit. Leo Rivera comes down the line to check in on his talented shortstop, Gage Reeser. No balls and 2 strikes to Gage out of Yakima Valley College, out of Lacey, Washington, and Timberline High School. 0-2 the count. Novacek to the plate. Fastball popped up into shallow left field. Kellen Siegel moves in, and Kellen grabs it. The wind pushed it a little bit. Kellen had to kind of reach up and stretch out to make the catch. But a nice job by Colin Novacek to come in and pitch to contact. And since Cooper Markham came into the game in the fourth and issued a walk, Cooper and now Novacek have combined to retire 8 straight. Sam Kane, the batter. Sam has flied to left, singled home 2 runs and walked. Novacek delivers, and the first pitch is swung on and missed. 0-1 the count. Colin Novacek with a really good season in the works. During the regular season, made 9 appearances, started 6, worked 28 innings, struck out 32. Strike 1 pitch, change, swung on and missed. And he's ahead of the count, 0-2 to Sam Kane. 1 out, nobody on. The Knights leading 7-5 in the 7th. Novacek to the plate. Fastball taken. Strike 3 called. 2 down. Sam Kane a little bit heated by the called third from Jim Courtney and was given quite a bit of room. He walked off yelling, even turned his head slightly over the shoulder while continuing to mutter and grumble en route to his dugout, but Jim Courtney lets him continue the trail to the dugout after the called third against Sam, which Sam didn't like whatsoever. Colin Novacek delivers a strike to Gaines Hawson. 0-1 the count. Gaines is 0 for 3. 2 down, nobody on, top of the 7th, 7-5 Knights. Novacek, the left-hander, set, kicks, and comes to the plate, low and in. 1 ball and 1 strike, 6'1", 200-pound Colin Novacek. It's also been fun to watch him work and know that he has some big days ahead, heading back to the Heartland and the University of Nebraska. Delivers, pulled, foul outside of third by Gaines Hawson. The count 1-2. He has worked steadily for the Cornhuskers the past 2 years. 10 appearances in 25, 15 this past spring. Left-hander out of Elkhorn, Nebraska. Looking to get a 1-2-3 inning. 2 outs, nobody on in the 7th. The Knights leading 7-5. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Gaines Hawson. Colin ready, delivers, fastball, swung on and missed. Strike 3 to retire the side. The Knights bullpen continuing to come through. They've retired 10 batters in a row. Colin Novacek the side here in the 7th with 2 strikeouts. We go to the bottom half. The Knights 7, Walla 5. Back in 90 on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio.
Welcome. We're looking to switch and heard about OCCU. In 20 words, what makes OCCU different?
OCCU has free interest earning checking, high yield savings, and a community focus.
That's only 11.
We're the credit union with duck and beaver cards.
Sounds like OCCU has a lot to offer.
OCCU has been around for 70 years. We've learned a thing or two.
Switch to OCCU. Apply online at myoccu.org or at your local branch.
Rudy Larson is the new pitcher for Walla Walla as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning here at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field. The Knights leading 7-5. Rudy following Curtis Ellis and Jacob Chandler, 6'2", 175-pound right-hander out of Lacey, Washington at Lower Columbia Community College, now out of North Thurston High School, and getting ready to face the top of the order for the Corvallis Knights. Diego Cruz, Maverick Russell, and Ethan Porter as the Knights try to get the lead increased. I'm asking Sidney Pointer here live on the air to look up Aiden May's start last night. He pitched very well, I think, against Eugene or for you. Against Eugene, yeah. If you could give me those numbers. I listened a little bit of the Emeralds game, and I heard them talking about Aiden May's outstanding start, so I'd be interested to know how that went. Diego Cruz takes ball 1 from Rudy Larson. The 1-0 pitch, Diego hits it sharply under the glove of the second baseman into right field for a base hit. Gaines Hawson now playing at second, and I thought had a chance to get the glove down and perhaps make a play, but it was well struck by Diego Cruz, and that gives plenty of possibilities here now for Brooke Knight on the base hit for Diego, with Maverick Russell coming to the plate. Aiden May last night pitching for the Spokane Indians in Spokane against Eugene. 4 2/3, 2 hits, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. Thank you, Sidney. That was good to hear. in his debut with Spokane. There goes Cruz, a bunt and run. I'm not sure what got missed by somebody somewhere, but Cruz was running and Maverick was bunting, and Maverick bunted it foul. No balls and a strike. I don't know if Diego was going on his own, or the Knights have had 2 runners cut down by Jalen Kennedy with really good action by the Sweets catcher. So we'll see how Brook wants to go at it here. 0-1 to Maverick, who squares. Rudy Larson to the plate. There goes Diego again. I'm not sure, the sacrifice stratagem, a bunt and run. Cruz is safely in at second. The sacrifice works. Diego slides into second, a little slow in getting up. So I'm not quite sure something I think was amiss in that whole exchange. Maverick gets a sacrifice on a play 1-3. Cruz is still down on one knee after the hard slide into second. Let's hope that Diego's going to be okay. He has his future Oregon State teammates, Dax Whitney and others, Tegan Scott, Diego Vasquez, and others all together sitting kind of behind the Sweets dugout. Ethan Porter, the batter, another teammate of the aforementioned, and Diego Cruz's future teammate with the Beavs. Porter, a huge 2-out, 2-run single in the third, looking for another RBI here in the bottom of the 7th. Swings at the fastball from Rudy Larson and doesn't get it. 0-1 the count. Ethan 1 for 3 on the night. No balls and 1 strike to Ethan Porter, looking for his 3rd RBI of the night. Diego Cruz, good speed at second with 1 out. Swings and doesn't get the off-speed pitch and is down in the count 0-2. One of the Knights staff members peering over my shoulder and looking inquisitively like, who is my Washington Park Advisors player of the game? Little early to make the call, but there's several strong candidates, including the guy at the plate here. Ethan Porter got a base hit with 2 strikes, his first at-bat to drive into. This 0-2 pitch misses in the turf. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Porter. But Max Medina with 2 run-scoring singles. Zane Garvey is 3 for 3. Dakota Chun is 2 for 2. Ryan Severns a 2-run double. Cooper Markham out of the bullpen. I mean, there are candidates abounding. Still a long way to go. Diego Cruz back to second. The 1-2 pitch missing down and away, ball 2. Interesting approach by Diego there. He's been getting an aggressive lead between second and third, but as Rudy Larson was coming to the plate, Diego had walked all the way back to the bag and had no lead at all. So I'm not quite sure what's happening out there. 2-2 the count to Ethan Porter with 1 out, 7-5 Knights. The 2-2 pitch taken just outside, ball 3. 3-2. Oh, did he call it? What? Okay, strike 3 call. Another one of those Jim Courtney delay specials where, I felt bad for a Yakima Valley Pippin player the other day when Courtney, way late, rung up a hitter on a 3-ball count. The runner for the Pippins was heading down to second. They, okay, well, no call, ball 4, I guess. Then the strike 3 call came, and the Knights threw behind and picked off the Pippins runner. The mechanics of it all, I don't fully understand. The batter is Dakota Chun. First pitch to Dakota misses down and away, ball 1. I thought the pitch might have legitimately been a strike, but Jim Courtney just took his sweet time to call it and then rung up Porter. Now Dakota Chun, who's had a good ball game, looking for a 2-out hit to get Diego Cruz home. 7-5 Knights in the bottom of the 7th inning. The 1-0 pitch, Dakota drives it to deep right center field. Nakamura back to the track, to the fence. The ball off the middle of the fence out in right center. Cruz scores. On his way to third is Dakota Chun. The throw not in time. A triple for Chun, and the Knights lead it 8-5.
Dakota might be player of the
Dakota Chun unloads for an RBI triple to right center. He's doubled, singled, and tripled. The Knights lead it 8-5 in the bottom of the 7th inning. Another 2-out run batted in for the Knights. Ryan Severns had a 2-out, 2-run double back in the 3rd, trying to add to the Knights' lead with another 2-out hit. Looks at a breaking ball for a strike, and the count 0-1. Bottom of the 7th inning, 8-5 Knights. 8 runs and 13 hits. After being stymied last night in the 3-2 defeat and early not showing much life, they really had a big moment in the 3rd, stringing together 5 2-out hits, trailing 4-1 when the hit streak began, and now lead 8-5 in the bottom of the 7th. The pitch to Severns out in front, swings and misses. And the count to Ryan, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ryan Severns has been another in the category that Coach Knight alluded to, just in terms of guys showing up day in and day out at the ballpark. The 1-2 pitch, Ryan takes away, ball 2, 2-2. Not quite as many games and starts and reps as the aforementioned M&M boys and Joey Morosco and Max Medina, but Ryan has been rock solid down the stretch of the year. He swings and pokes it into center field, base hit. Dakota Chun trots home, an RBI single for Ryan Severns, and the Knights lead it 9-5. And Max Medina comes to the plate. Another clutch 2-out hit. Kellen Siegel is trotting in from the bullpen where he's been throwing, evidently to get ready to come in to pitch, I would think. Max Medina to the plate. Brooke Knight with a meeting with Max before Medina steps in. It'll be interesting to see how the Knights play this with respect to Kellen Siegel, who's the on-deck hitter. And by that, he'll hit for himself, yes, but I wonder if he's ready to come into the ball game. Colin Novacek just had an outstanding 7th inning. We'll see, what Bo and Brooks' plan is to try to get the final 6 outs. Max Medina takes a strike, 0-1 the count. 9-5 Knights, bottom of the 7th inning. Severns hopping away from first. The strike 1 pitch to Max, taken low and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. There's some sort of cheer camp going on campus, and this time of the year, the end of the night season, there's so many different camps and activities going on, but a number of youngsters walking on the railroad tracks beyond the right field scoreboard. The pitch to Medina, stroke to center, base hit. Severns digs for third and goes in standing up. Max Medina with his 3rd hit. The Knights with 9 runs and 15 hits on the night have runners at first and third and 2 down for Kellen Siegel, leading 9-5 and hoping to continue to build on the lead and ease their task, looking for the final 6 outs and the opportunity to play again here Tuesday night in the South Division Championship game. The attendance on this Sunday evening, a modest figure by night standards, a good crowd really engaged in it from start to finish. 648 is the attendance tonight, 648. If the Knights are able to prevail. And there goes Medina, a step off and no throw from Rudy Larson. Medina picks up the stolen base. And now that's one way to avoid the arm of Jalen Kennedy. Just take off running on the pitcher. And in this case, Rudy didn't step off. He'll work from the windup now with Medina in at second, and Siegel looking for a 2-out hit that could almost feel like a backbreaker for Walla Walla. Down 4 runs now. Kellen looks at a breaking ball strike, trying to make it a 6-run Knights lead with a 2-out hit. Severns at third, Medina at second, 2 down. The strike 1 pitch on the way, a wild pitch, but not wild enough for Severns to come down. I mean, it was uncorked about 2 feet in front of the plate, well blocked by Jalen Kennedy. 1 ball and 1 strike to Siegel. Kellen is lined out and struck out. Rudy Larson works from the windup. Severns at third, Medina at second with 2 down. The 1-1 pitch, fastball up and away, ball 2, 2-1. Sidney Pointer reporting on Aiden May's exploits, and Matthew Boyd and others was in T-Mobile Park last night for the ceremonials. Very disappointing run for the Mariners on the field, but a great weekend celebrating their 50th anniversary. Breaking ball strike and the count 2-2 to Siegel. The top 50 players, and they did not count them down, and that's a good thing. That would not have been a good look, even though Griffey Jr. would have been acknowledged as the number 1. They just had the top 50 and listed them alphabetically in their release. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 in. The 2-2 pitch, strike 3 called. The inning is over. The Knights do not deliver in that sense the final haymaker with a 2-out, 2-run hit, but they do get 2 more and have a 4-run lead with 6 outs to go to win the series. But another hit would have been big to the end of trying to ensure victory in this one. We go to the 7th. I don't know if it's going to be Kellen now to look for these final 6. I believe it is. So Colin Novacek just 1 inning. Kellen Siegel will look for the final 6 outs to deliver the Knights into the title game on Tuesday. At the end of 7, the Knights 9, Walla 5, back in 90 on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio. The Knights turn the baseball over to Kellen Siegel, looking for the final 3 outs in this decisive Game 3 of the West Coast League South Divisional Series. Kellen had a tremendous regular season, 15 appearances to lead the second on the club to Jack Alanita's 20. But the team leader in saves was 6. Has a 9-5 lead to open the top of the 8th. Logan Nakamura to lead it off. Kellen kicks and comes to the plate. Fastball in there for a strike. 0-1 the count. Logan has popped to short, singled home a run, and grounded to first. Top of the 8th inning, 9-5 Corvallis. Trying to play their way into the South Division title game here Tuesday. Kellen's strike 1 pitch, down and away, ball 1. 1-1. Good to see Alex Yarrow here tonight with his mother, Jennifer. Papa Scott home babysitting. Is it Zach? I'm trying to remember what the younger son's name is. The pitch on the way, grounded sharply to the left of Cruz. Diego smothers it, throws to first on a hop, dug out by Maverick Russell, 1 away. Nicely done by Diego and Maverick. Really good play on both players' part, but Diego showing tremendous range to his left, one away. Kellen Siegel will be the hitter. Scott, if you have my phone number, feel free to text me. I want to make sure, but you're home babysitting, but I just couldn't quite remember the name of whom you're home there with. But I hope you're having a good time. Your family, I know, is. A looper into right field, base hit off the bat of Troy Osborne. Diego Cruz chases the ball down and right and then underhands it to Zane Garvey to get the ball back in. Troy Osborne, a one-out single here in the top of the eighth with the Knights leading 9-5. Jalen Kennedy, the batter. For the Knights defensively now, a battery of Kellen Siegel and Dakota Chun. Maverick Russell at first, Diego Cruz at second, Joey Morosco at short, Ryan Severns at third. Ethan Porter moves out to left field with Max Medina in center and Zane Garvey in right. Kellen to the plate, fastball sliced deep down the right field line, but playable for Zane Garvey. Zane moves over to make the catch. 2 down in the top of the eighth inning. And coming to the plate for Walla Walla will be Ethan Buckley. Buckley struck out pinch hitting in the 6th inning for Keegan Kelly. Troy Osborne at first. 2 down in the top of the 8th inning. 9-5 Knights. Kellen from the stretch and comes to the plate. Breaking ball away. Ball 1, 1-0. Part of that 50th last night. At the end of the ceremonials, a tremendous announcement made about one of the greats to ever do it in the broadcast profession, Rick Riz, going into the Mariners Hall of Fame. And I'm told that by reading about it, that Rick was almost sobbing at the end. He just so touched emotionally by seeing all of the old players and Rick calling almost all 50 players that were there that showed up, or of the 50 all-time. I mean, Rick's called games for almost all of them. He's been such a fixture in the Mariners organization, and then was honored and told that he would be going into the Mariners Hall of Fame, joining his late broadcast partner, Dave Niehaus. Rick was deeply touched by that, and the love affair goes on with Rick Riz and the Mariners in spite of all of their woes. The pitch to Buckley, lifted to center. Back on it goes Max Medina, makes the catch. Excellent job by right-hander Kellen Siegel, who gets the Knights to within 3 outs of the Tuesday championship game here. If they can get them, they're playing here against either Portland or Ridgefield. A new pitcher coming in for the Sweets as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Through 7.5, the Knights 9 and Walla Walla 5. A 2-minute pitching change break. Back in 2 on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio.
Welcome. We're looking to switch and heard about OCCU. In 20 words, what makes OCCU different?
OCCU has free interest-earning checking, high-yield savings, and a community focus.
That's only 11.
We're the credit union with duck and beaver cards.
Sounds like OCCU has a lot to offer.
OCCU has been around for 70 years. We've learned a thing or two.
Switch to OCCU. Apply online at myoccu.org or at your local branch.
the pitcher named properly. I was saying Quad A Gonzalez the fourth when he came into the game last night. I just heard him introduced as our public address announcer. Ross said Quad. It's Quade. Zane Garvey at the plate. Garvey has singled, doubled, and singled again and scored twice. 9-5 Knights here in the bottom of the 8th inning. I just seen the E. Quade sounds about right to me. Quade Gonzalez the fourth, but Ross Durfeld introduced him as Quad, so I do think there's some checking going on, and we'll try to get it right. I hope to get a text message from the public address announcer when he finds out. I think they're trying to run down to the booth where the radio broadcast is going on, or a note's being brought to me now. The pitch to Zane Garvey, missing high and away. You're fine right there. Ball 3, 3-1. 9-5 Knights leading matters off. So it's neither Quad nor Quade. It's Quade. Thank you very much. Okay, Quade Gonzalez the fourth. There are 3 others ahead of him. Everybody in the world should know if there's 3 other Quade. This is Quade Gonzalez the fourth, neither Quad nor Quade. So our apologies, everybody, for last night. But Quade Gonzalez the fourth walks Zane Garvey to open the Knights, bottom of the 8th inning. Joey Morosco, the batter. Joey is 0 for 3. 9-5 Knights, bottom of the 8th inning. Quade out of the stretch. The pitch to Joey, who's bunting. Outside, a throw down to first, and Zane Garvey gets back. 1-0 the count. I was wondering what Brooks' approach would be here. He's not taking anything for granted. He'd love to get another run. Quade Gonzalez the fourth out of Othello, Washington. Behind Joey 1-0, the third baseman creeping in on the artificial turf here at Goss. Joey does show bunt, and the fastball is outside for ball 2. 2-0. Zane Garvey, a leadoff walk. Quade is behind the count, 2-0 to Morosco. Diego Cruz on deck. The 2-0 pitch, Joey shows bunt, pulls the bat back and takes outside, ball 3. 3-0. The Knights trailed 4-1 going to the bottom of the 3rd. The Sweets were whooping it up in their dugout, feeling it. They deserved all of that emotion. They had won yesterday to put the Knights up against it today, and the hometown team feeling the pressure. Walla scored 4, had a 4-1 lead, and the Knights were down to the final strike in the following inning with a couple of runners on, yes, but Ethan Porter with a clutch 2-out, 2-run single. The comeback was on, and the Knights have been pretty dominant since. The 3-1 pitch, fouled back by Joey on the bunt attempt. And now the count pulled to 3-2. Coach Knight with several options now in terms of, I think he takes the bunt off certainly for Joey, but he could send Garvey. Joey handles the bat well. 3-2 the count, 9-5 Knights, bottom of the 8th inning. Quade Gonzalez the fourth from the stretch. Garvey doesn't go. The 3-2 pitch is popped up to shallow right field. Second baseman Gaines Hawson goes out, and Gaines makes the catch. Pretty good job by Quade to come back from a 3-0 count and get an out. One away in the bottom of the 8th. Diego Cruz to the plate. Diego has flied to center, popped to short, singled home a run, and singled to right and scored a run last inning. 9-5 Knights, bottom of the 8th. Quade from the stretch, and the right-hander's first pitch. Soft liner speared on a hop by Hassan. Throws to second for a force. Good play by Gaines. Diving away from second into shallow right field to his left. Turned around and threw a strike to his Keystone partner, Gage Reeser. Cruz aboard on the fielder's choice, 4-6. Well done. 2 down. Maverick Russell the batter. Maverick has grounded to second, singled to center, grounded to second, and had a bunt and run sacrifice hit last inning. The pitch on the way to Maverick inside from Quaid, ball one, 1-0. Quaid following Rudy Larson, Jacob Chandler, and Curtis Ellis in this decisive game. Walla had all the momentum early. The Knights wrested it away in the third and now lead 9-5 in the bottom of the eighth. Gonzalez to the plate. Maverick a chopper right at the first baseman. Fielded there for the out, and the inning is over. The Knights go quietly and are now 3 outs away from advancing to the championship game. Ethan Buckley stepping on the bag for out number 3 from his opposite number. The Knights are gone. No runs, no hits, a man left. They have a wild one going on again at the Rourke. It was 7-3 Portland. It's now 7-6 in the eighth inning. Last night, some high drama there, so we'll wait and see. The Knights hoping to find out, but they need 3 outs to earn the right to play either Ridgefield or Portland. Kellen Siegel looks for those 3 as we head to the top of the ninth. Quaid Gonzalez the fourth with a strong outing. Kellen Siegel looking for the final 3 outs. Quaid heading off to Seattle U at the end of the summer from Walla Walla. We go to the ninth, 9-5 Knights, back in 90 on Joe Radio. Top of the ninth inning, 9-5 Knights. Kellen Siegel to Ronan Schofield. The first pitch missing to the big left-hand hitting left fielder. Kellen back to the plate. The 1-0 pitch to the backstop. Ball 2, 2-0. Ronan walked and scored in the third, singled in the fourth, grounded out in the sixth. Knights pitching settled down considerably, beginning really in the fourth inning. They did give up a run in the fourth, but they have been excellent since. Kellen's 2-0 pitch misses outside for ball 3. The Sweet scored 4 runs in the third inning. Came back with a singleton in the fourth. Just 1 base runner since the fourth inning. Kellen Siegel's 3-0 pitch, a strike, and the count 3-1 to Ronan Schofield. 9-5 Knights in the top of the ninth inning. Kellen Siegel trying to pitch a club that he's known his whole life into the championship game here Tuesday for the division. The 3-1 pitch, a strike, and the count 3-2. This smallish gathering sounds larger than the 648 number we were given. They're throwing down the noise as Kellen kicks and comes 3-2. Fastball swung on, foul tipped and held. Strike 3, 1 away. Great job by Kellen, falling behind 3-0 to come back and get the strikeout.
Now batting for the Swedes, third baseman, number 25,
Kyler Bittner, the batter. Kyler, the right-hand hitting leadoff hitter for Walla. Walla led off the game with a walk. That was kind of an uh-oh moment. A leadoff walk. And then the next guy walked. Bryce Hill, to his credit, fought back and put up a 0, retired the Sweets in order in the second, ran into trouble in the third when Walla scored 4. Bittner looks at a slider for a strike. 0-1 the count. Kyler from Kenyatta Junior College, a couple of years there, on his way to Fresno State from Sunnyvale, California. No balls and a strike to Kyler. Kellen back to the plate. The strike one fastball lifted to the gap in right center field. A long run for Zane Garvey and Max Medina. The ball splits them out in right center field. And into second base goes Kyler Bittner with a 1-out double. Gage Reeser will be the batter. So Walla, which has competed like crazy here in Corvallis, not necessarily ready just to roll over. They have been quiet since that 4-run third inning. Just 1 run since. It came in the 4th, nothing since. But down 9-5 and down to their final 2 outs, trying to scratch and claw again back into it. Gage Reeser, the hitter. Kellen Siegel out of the stretch. Kicks and comes to the plate. Breaking ball strike, and the count 0-1. Gage has walked, sacrificed, had a sacrifice fly, and plied to left. He scored a run. 9-5 Knights. Top of the 9th inning. Kellen kicks, delivers. Breaking ball line past the diving Joey Morosco into left field, base hit. Ethan Porter picks the ball up, rounding third and coming in to score, Kyler Bittner. Now the Knights 9 and Walla 6. Gage Reeser with the RBI single. Sam Kane, the batter. Not quite nervous time, but the operative word is yet, with Sam Kane coming up. Kellen Siegel hopes to avoid any high drama. A ground ball and a double play would be the order. That would end it. Kellen to the plate. Breaking ball cued slowly to first. No, just take it to the bag, Maverick. Thank you. Maverick picked up the ball and thought about throwing to second, and I had to coach him up. I'm sorry. I had to help out there. Maverick fielded the ball and thought about throwing to second, and then he repented, which I'm told by Steve Kimmel and other theologians, to repent means to change your mind. So he repented. He changed his mind and made the right choice and took it to the bag for out number 2. Sorry about that. 2 down. Gaines Hawson, the batter. Gage Reeser to second. Fastball from Kellen Siegel for a strike. 0-1 the count. A good change of mind, an act of repentance from Maverick Russell. Fielded the ball, took it to the bag. The Knights are an out away. No balls and a strike to Gaines Hawson. 9-6 Knights, 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning. Kellen from the stretch. The 0-1 pitch to Hawson. Swung on and fouled back. The count 0-2. Kellen and the Knights are a strike away. And the fans rising to their feet at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field. Looking for the final strike, the final out of this series. If the Knights get it, on they go to Tuesday for the South Division title game against either Portland or Ridgefield. Still 1 more strike, 1 more out needed. The home plate umpire, Jim Courtney, says cease and desist on the sound effects that were emanating from the McGrath family press box. The Get Loud sign, though, being adhered to by the fans on their feet, stomping their feet on the metal bleachers, clapping, yelling, shouting, exhortations to Kellen Siegel. The strike 2 pitch misses down and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The fans will try to ramp it up again. 9-6 Knights, 2 outs, top of the 9th inning. Gage Reeser at second, 1-2 to Gaines Hawson. Kellen Siegel settles in at the belt. The right-hander kicks and delivers. Outside, ball 2, 2-2. 9-6 Knights. The operative board yet in terms of Logan Nakamura, the tying run on deck. Kellen trying to end it here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Gage Reeser at second, Kellen ready. The 2-2 pitch, fastball foul back. Hassan continues the battle. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Sweets down to their final strike in this divisional series, but Gaines Hawson showing his competitive zeal, fighting to the end. Gage Reeser at second, 2 down. Another 2-ball, 2-strike pitch with 2 outs coming from Kellen Siegel. The right-hander ready. Kellen kicks and delivers 2-2. Swung out and missed. Strike 3 on the slider. Kellen Siegel gets it done. The Knights get it done and advance to Tuesday night's championship game for the South Division here against either Portland or Ridgefield, with a thrilling come-from-behind 9-6 victory in the decisive Game 3 against Walla Walla here at Goss Stadium at Coleman Field. So the West Coast League South Division Championship game emblazoned up on the scoreboard coming up on Tuesday at 6:35. The Knights finishing the season hot, win 6 consecutive series to get now to the single game affairs. Tuesday, if they win that, they travel to the great state of Washington to either Wenatchee or Bellingham for the title on Thursday. They take care of business tonight. It didn't look good early. A great start for the visiting Walla Walla Sweets. The Knights rallied impressively, down to 2 strikes with 2 outs and 2 on, down 4-1 in the bottom of the 3rd. Ethan Porter, a base hit to right field. The comeback was on. The Knights eventually eradicated the 4-1 deficit and win by a final score of 9-5 to earn the right to play for the South Division Championship on Tuesday night against either Ridgefield or Portland. For the Knights, 9 runs, 15 hits, and 1 error. Walla Walla, 6 runs, 7 hits, and no errors. A very competitive effort by Walla Walla, especially here in Corvallis the last 2 nights, forcing the Game 3 with their 3-2 win last night and taking the early lead tonight and putting real pressure on the hometown Knights. The Knights responded and got it done and hope to do it again before many of you here on Tuesday. Been a fun couple of nights in 2026 summer, and it ain't over yet. The Knights with another home game, 1 more. Make sure you don't miss out. Tuesday night, the Corvallis Knights in either Portland or Ridgefield for the South Division Championship and a berth in the West Coast League title game. The Knights rally to win it. Our final score, the Knights 9 and the Walla Walla Sweets 6. My thanks to Javon Grossman, to Brian Thomas, and our whole crew. Thanks to all of you for tuning our way. We hope to see you Tuesday right back here, 6:20 pregame for the South Division Championship game. Again, congratulations to the Knights. They advance 9-6 over Walla Walla. See you Tuesday right back here on the Knights live stream and Joe Radio. So long, everybody.